So I'm going to call this meeting to
I'm leaving.
order.
Yeah.
You know how people are people wherever you go.
Okay.
I will text you when we're down to the last two.
Okay, everybody. I'm calling this meeting of the Nantucket Historic District Commission to order. It is Thursday, April 13th at 1:05 p.m. Present are John McLaughlin, Stephen Welch, Diane Coons, Val Oliver, Abby Camp, and myself, Ray Pohl. Could I just have somebody...
Approve the agenda?
Correct, thank you. All those in favor of Diane's motion to approve the agenda?
Aye.
Aye. Public comment, anyone? Hearing none, we're going to move right along to new business. That would be you, Val Oliver.
That would be me.
Okay. Actually, not a particularly short agenda.
There you go. You are right. Thank you.
This is Weatherly you're looking at?
Yes.
Yep. Val Oliver for the applicant. I believe the addition was of no concern. However, there was perhaps concern that the Bilko is on the front of the addition as opposed to the side because they don't want to disturb their driveway. They are willing to put a fence around it or screen it or whatever if you entertain the idea of them leaving it where it is.
So it's everybody sitting. John, any comments on this?
No.
Are you okay with the bulkhead door where it is, John?
It's on the front.
Well, front as in this is Weatherly Place.
Right.
You can put it inside.
Except they don't want to move their driveway. That's why they're asking for it there.
Driveway.
Yeah, it wouldn't fit.
Where is it?
On the side.
Here, it wouldn't fit here.
You can put it anywhere.
Well, this
Okay.
part of the house doesn't have a basement. Only this new piece will have a basement.
Move it down the farthest end if you can.
Which
I
end,
don't know.
John?
I'm just making a suggestion.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it, Stephen?
Sorry, how far does it come out, like 5 feet?
Yeah.
To the-
I know we don't do landscaping as a requirement, but I would feel more comfortable that there's some kind of screening, because it is right in the front. And it's not so much that it's in the front and just the front, it's on the closest side. You know, it's not towards the end. Well, actually, let me look at this better.
It
Sorry.
is.
It is. Okay, I'm sorry, looking at it upside down. Bill, are these timbers shown on the site plan? That's not fence or anything?
No, that's just the outline of the driveway, whatever the material is.
Okay. How do you feel, how would the applicant, do you think the applicant might feel about providing some type of screening there?
Well, they said they'd put up a fence or they'd screen it with vegetation.
Okay, if we could come up with a solution on that, I would be okay with it.
Okay. Diane, I know you were... Oh,
I was thinking about it. I just saw the same thing. Put a 4-foot fence or tell me to shower. I'll go shower.
Oh, on the front though?
It's,
well, it would be lower than a shower. It would be
Yeah.
more like a fence that we put around AC units or something.
Could be a
Problem
planter,
is
for
that the
God's sake.
bulkhead, you want to access it. It's, you don't, if you.
You'd have to have a
you
gate.
vegetate
Right.
it, you,
Yeah.
these are Kara's houses, right?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
house belongs.
This is the front one, on the farthest out of town.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
there when she bought
Yeah.
that.
It is very difficult to see because of the planting on the old driveway And if they put planting on the front, it is not something that you're coming up Fairgrounds Road. I know the house well. And with some planting around, not necessarily around it, but coming out from the edge of the house, I don't think you'll be able to see it at all.
You know, it's an interesting point, Diane, because I was sort of assuming that you were accessing this off of Weatherly Place, but you're not.
No,
It's coming off of Fairgrounds,
yeah, it's coming off of Fairgrounds with a new driveway.
and there's this plan, the plot plan shows a large, what I'm going to assume is a privet hedge that runs all the way down between the house and Weatherly Place. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right.
So it'd be very difficult to see because the house is sort of tucked in behind a bunch of native type stuff in the front.
Yeah.
So you can't see it going from Surfside Road to Old South. The only time you can see it just as you come up there, and I believe with just a little planting on the front of the house, it won't be seen.
Thank you. How about you, Evan?
Well, I'm looking at it and I'm wondering if they shifted the doors to be on the inside of that, it wouldn't make it so deep into the property.
When you say on the inside.
If they, see how this is a rectangle
Yeah.
and it's deeper this way, if they shifted it so the doors opened on this inside,
I can't do that.
what?
Because
Or the other way.
bulkhead, the stairs have to go straight down into the basement.
Oh,
You
that's,
know what I mean? So
okay,
the
yeah,
long
yeah,
end
yeah.
always sticks out.
And the other, you'd trip over this door rather than this door.
So the doors will be like that,
bottom.
split like that?
Correct,
and-
that's right.
All right, but
Can-
so if you put vegetation in front, how do you get in those doors?
You'd put vegetation on the side, not the front of it.
Well, then-
Just come up the back of the
So I
house.
have an idea. How about if they put a natural to weather picket fence around it, which they can, have open in the front like a gate when they want to access it?
I think that's going to draw more attention.
Yeah.
I think that's some kind of vegetation.
I
Okay.
think just the planting.
Yeah, can I back up, because I want to correct I had a misunderstanding, which changes the whole game plan here. If anything is required as a fence, Val, my concern would just be that from the driveway, there would be a small section of natural to weather picket. Because what was corrected and clarified for me is that I understood the access was here, but I thought that I didn't realize that this was tall privet and this is not actually a functional road with regards to this property. So really my only concern would be visibility here. It's minimal at best. You might have some tiny little piece of fence here, but you'd be better served with landscaping. There's probably already landscaping there. So my concerns are withdrawn.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve with vegetation and planting put in front of the house to block
The
From
entrance.
Fairgrounds
the entrance.
Road?
And I'll
Yeah.
second that.
Okay, I'll third it.
Okay, all those in
Thank you
favor
for
of
clarifying
Stephen's
that.
motion?
Okay, wrap it up.
Okay, boss. All those in favor of Stephen's motion?
Aye.
Okay, great.
It's my motion.
Oh, was it yours?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor of Diane's motion? Aye. Okay.
Oh, it's
Thank you, Jeff.
Angela's. Oh, my Angela from Powell.
Kitchener?
No, Guy.
Oh, yeah.
She's a physical therapist.
Yes. So which one are you doing, the addition or the arbor?
The additions.
Okay, so it's not an addition, excuse me. We want to take the garage doors out and put French doors in with a little overhang. And in the rear, some skylights. And yes, I am asking for two. One on either side of the gable in the rear.
Back.
Yep,
They're in the back, not.
2 by 3.
Not visible.
Not visible at all.
Did John, did you just say okay then?
No, he just
He
said,
said, don't say that.
Oh, don't say that, I'm sorry.
Don't say it's not visible.
Don't say it's not so.
Abby, you ready to begin on this?
Yeah, if you promise that they're not visible, because I know John's going to get you on it, I'm okay with this application.
Great. Diane?
2x3. What about, just to be a pest, what about seeing it from Oak Hollow Road?
I don't know that, because I don't know where that is.
That's the road right behind
It's-
it. It's that little dirt road.
It's Gertrude Bernard's old driveway.
But there's a piece of property in
There
between
is.
this and that road that is probably about 200 feet.
Yeah, well, I
I don't know.
I think it would be hard to see and designate that they are skylights. So otherwise, I have no problem with it.
Steve?
Val, one question is on the one that you can see on the north elevation, or I'm sorry, not the north. Is that the north?
No, there is.
There's two on the north.
There's,
And those are obscured from the road by the house?
Hold on.
Two
I'm
more.
looking at a north arrow there.
I think I have them.
Yeah, it should be the east elevation is the back, and the
Yeah.
west elevation is the quote front,
Okay, so Val,
according to this north arrow that you have.
on your drawing, you're showing the secondary gable on what is the left north elevation, which shows a skylight to the front and rear of the secondary gable. That whole, that roof plane is obscured by the main house, correct? From the road?
Yes.
Okay, and then to the rear, I see what appear to be at least two large trees.
Yes.
And then you have that other road that Diane mentioned is at least a couple hundred feet away.
Right.
Okay.
You know what? And to be fair, the left and the rear are mislabeled. The rear is actually the north, and the left is the rear.
Okay, so based on that
Yeah.
and the lack of visibility, I have no concern.
I'm a little confused on something. The skylights. The 2x3 skylights. But they're measured.
Yeah.
You good?
They're not really 2 by 30.
We're looking at this
One and a half.
application right here.
From,
Thank you. Are you?
Who are you?
you're right, they're not the right direction.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I want to see what's going on down here.
But we're hearing an application right now. So are you a neighbor? So do you want to sit in with the audience?
Oh,
The
I'm
the-
sorry.
the
I
view,
thought
John,
this
the
was-
views, the views
I thought we had a new
the views are-
associate. You work
At
with,
the
I
end.
thought we had a new associate like
These are
that.
just the important people. Oh, guess I know my place.
Okay. All right, so John, you're okay.
I have to, John's okay with this?
No,
You're okay.
I'm hoping they're not going to be seen further on down the road at the back.
Well, actually, I thought, well, maybe from the back, they're actually on the side of the building that's behind the main dwelling.
Right.
So even if you could see them from that other road, well, you can't see them from the other road because,
I do have a question.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, first
then
of all,
she wants to-
John, I think was about to say the dimensions. Is this quarter inch scale?
Yeah.
Because
The small gate.
the width is actually not 2, which if they were 2, it would be better. It looks like it measures more like just over a foot and a half.
Yeah, they're
So
now.
she's talking about.
So, but if they are actually 24 by 36, I think it would be better because they're a little vertical right now. But also on that, what you have labeled left north elevation, could it come off that edge? It's awfully close.
Yeah.
You know, see how it's,
I don't think you could physically.
I don't think, yeah, wouldn't there be like a major beam there or something?
Oh, that might be the reason why it's on the edge. If we can only have, you know, one, we'll have one.
I have not heard any objections to the placement of the skylights and the number.
Yeah,
So if they can fit Val, I think it's fine.
okay.
But I would take it off that left edge on the,
Yeah, well, I think they have to.
yeah,
No question.
okay.
Which elevation is that?
The left, which is really the rear.
But I want, is it east, north, south, or west?
It's actually east.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Val, I don't think that's right. See this
No, the
north-
rear
see
is
this-
east.
See this north arrow right here?
Yes.
If that's accurate, then you have labeled that elevation correctly. It is the north elevation, but that north elevation is a side. The elevation that's in the back is.
Oh, that's
says
what it is, the
rear
left and
east.
the rear. Yeah,
So
okay,
all that is correct.
okay.
Put that in the okay that we're sort of promised here that they won't be seen from a public way.
My lack of concern is based on a lack of visibility.
Yeah.
We would do lack of visibility.
Yeah,
So,
me too.
yeah.
So we're back to using that as the north elevation?
Yeah, it is the north elevation.
Okay.
The right, the left and the rear
And
was,
the east is the back.
yeah.
So,
Whose motion is that?
I don't know, who's making
What do you want to
I'll make it,
look at?
to make it a motion to approve with the left-hand skylight moved in from the edge of the house on the north elevation and increased to, you wanted it increased to 36?
No, it's just, the dimensions are wrong on the drawing. It's actually 2 feet, so it's wider, so which is actually better. If that's only like a little over a foot and a half.
Okay.
Maybe 2 feet will make it.
2 feet. So it's increased in size to 2 feet, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
All those in favor of Abby's motion?
it's my motion,
Actually, oh,
Due to a lack of visibility, correct?
yes.
Okay,
Aye.
aye.
All right, Diane, can you bring that second part of
All right, it's
the left
the
skylight on the north?
left skylight to be moved in from the edge of the roof, and the skylights increased 2 feet wide rather than the foot and a half that they are. And this is approved due to lack of visibility.
Now we got an arbor, same house.
Yeah, so they want to block the former driveway off and make a lawn,
Okay?
and then extend a spur of parking in front of the house behind the hedge, which if you've seen the hedges over there, you won't, it won't be seen.
What won't be seen? Oh, the
The
park.
the parking.
Right. Okay, comments from the board?
I'm okay with it.
Oh, P.S., is it painted or natural? The arbor?
Whatever you want
Yeah,
it
you
to
get
be.
sense?
Stephen?
I think the precedent for screen parking is well known.
Okay,
Looks good, no concerns.
great.
John?
John? And Diane, I know you're writing, but,
They park all over the place anyway, so it's,
and you're okay with the arbor?
yes.
Okay, so then can I have a motion now?
Yeah, motion to approve as submitted.
Great. All those in favor of Abby's motion?
Aye.
Okay. 7 Arkansas.
Or Kansas.
question.
Yeah.
On the border. Brian Harris. He rents the property next door.
Different, Brian, these people don't live here.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so let's, Bill, is it the back property of the two?
Same name. It's a funky shaped lot, which you'll see on your site plan.
Okay, it's this forward, okay.
Very strange.
Wow. Yeah.
Very prominent chimney.
The only U-shaped lot I've ever seen.
The house is
right
there.
away?
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, so we're reviewing a garage studio. We do have Nantucket advisory comments, which I'm going to read right now. North elevation. Actually, it says northeast and southwest.
And the chimney's here.
Second floor elevation of A windows should be further away from corners.
Yes.
And median rail needs to align with
Yes.
southeast.
That's what she's proposing.
Southeast overhang over garage doors, i.e. company re-wood. And then it says other comments. After reviewing, our opinion is that this is not a garage, as the opening for access of vehicles are fixed.
The windows are fixed.
Well, how do you get up the foundation into the garage?
Oh, there's no apron.
Well, there's a foundation that's like a foot below the garage door.
Right, no, there's no
I think
drive
it's
up
the
in
way
front.
Huntington drew it.
So they will level it up? to-
Yeah.
Okay,
They'll have an apron.
okay,
This low.
okay.
John, should we start with you?
Yes, I'm on the, you have two only windows. C.
If you look at the floor plan, those are the windows in the garage doors, and they're fixed. See, it says stationary? Yeah.
Is that it, Sean?
Thank you.
Good. Stephen?
I think it's a charming little cottage garage apartment. Bill, are those going to be like a board and batten door?
Yeah, they're
Garage door?
gonna make those.
They are
Yeah.
this is going to be a garage?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to us, I don't think, but I was just curious.
And
I guess-
again, Huntington might have just rendered the doors.
I think on the northeast elevation, the dormer windows, I know that may be atypical to have them off to the sides. I have absolutely no concerns with it. I don't even know if it's visible, but I don't know that every window needs to be symmetrical, so I have no concerns with it.
Okay. Thanks. Diane?
I agree with what Matic Advisory said, pulling the windows in a little bit from the edges
On the
on that
northeast.
dormer, on that northeast, and I would like to see the west elevation. I looked at the floor plan. It would be better to separate those windows anyway.
Where, Diane?
On the
Sorry.
northwest elevation, first floor,
Yeah?
the two ganged windows. If you look on the northwest
Okay.
floor plan, you will see that they would do better to be separated and,
So move one over?
yeah, move one over or whatever, just, they look kind of weird that way.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you. Abby?
Would you, if you were to separate them, could they line up with the A windows above, or is that?
Yeah.
Well, what I'm thinking is we'll separate them, and the space in between will line up with the window up above.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it'll basically be like
Right.
flanking.
Yeah.
Okay. And, yeah, I agree with the Nantucket Advisory Board that the A windows on the northeast elevation should come out like another foot. I mean, go towards the middle of the wall, at least a foot.
Okay.
And what do they mean about rework?
The roof, yeah, what does that mean?
Oh, well,
Oh,
I don't
the
know
shed.
exactly what they mean, but look at the length of the little
Yeah.
braces that come down. They're
I was
extremely
going to
long.
mention that.
Okay, so
Bracket for two.
it's just a drawing
Yeah,
thing.
cut those in half.
Yeah,
Instead of
I would just
30, 60, 90.
come back at a 45 and
Okay.
make it
Yeah.
shorter. I think
Okay.
it would look better, less offensive.
Okay.
I know what you're going to say, John, and I've got a recommendation. Go ahead.
I had a comment that northeast elevation, the median rail's got to
Yeah.
Yeah,
make
That's
some
what I
kind of
thought you were
change,
going
you
to
know?
say.
somebody
So-
said that already.
Thank you.
Well, actually, Nantucket Advisory said that. So I would not be averse. This building is only 20 feet, 20 feet, 10 inches high. That whole thing could be remedied quite easily if you actually raise
Just
the
drop
roof.
down the dormer on top of
Well,
it.
you could do that. You drop the dormer and/or raise the roof a little bit.
Yeah, your ceiling
You're
heights are
really
gonna go down
close.
a bit. If you
I
drop
don't
it.
think we want it to be taller, because we don't want it to really overwhelm the
Okay,
house.
well then, how about, you got a 6'10" window height, you could probably drop it down 4 inches, and you'd be right there at 6'6".
Yeah,
So.
I know what we need to do.
Do we, do you want to have a chance to work on those windows that are sort of wall-eyed now, or should we just approve it through staff with that change?
That's up to you guys.
Well, do you know that you can do that? Can you move those?
Why don't I
windows?
hold for revisions, and I'll get them to make the
Probably a good
revisions.
idea, and then with those kitchen. Hold on,
The roof here, that's too long.
we're gonna chop that down.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table from Abby to hold this for some minor revisions. All those in favor? Aye.
One more, really fast.
Okay.
This is a move on from Monomoy,
We better move on.
the house that Graham's Goldsmith's
Yeah.
people are moving off.
Right.
It's going to move on to a site out on Windsor Road that we already are in the process of moving a house from 39th Main Street, Sconset. This will be the main dwelling, and that will be the secondary dwelling.
Great.
That's terrific.
Yeah. Use recycle.
Yeah.
The house is going to face Plainfield, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then the other house, Diane, the one that you see in the corner previously approved to move, is
Yeah.
going to face Windsor, just so they share the yard, but aren't like side by side.
That-
Right.
This one's moving here is previously approved. This one is moving here is the proposal.
Big old house.
I have no problem with that.
Abby, it didn't sound like you had a problem.
No, I'm loving it.
Great. And how about you, gentlemen?
Any change between this house and move?
Nope,
All
not
remain
yet.
the same.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
Make
they
a
have
motion to
cover the
approve as
barn.
submitted.
all right. Okay, we have a motion on the table to approve as submitted. All those in favor of Diane's motion? Aye. Aye. Great, thanks. Okay, Brant.
Good afternoon.
How's it going?
Thank you.
It's yours, too.
Brant, why don't you just give your name for the record?
Grant Gould,
And so this is to the restaurant,
yes.
and what you doing?
Okay. In short,
What I want to do is take sort of a vestigial part of the front patio that serves no real purpose, that has decorative railings on it, remove the railings, and then utilize that remaining decking as seating, because it is already there, it's already 18 inches above grade. It's kind of hard to see. If you look at the elevation, it might be clear.
Well, all I'm looking at,
Yeah.
what we have is a locus plan.
Go ahead, nothing.
and a Site plan. That's
No.
it.
I don't know. I submitted.
Wait, here you go.
And do we just have that one copy?
So what it is that there's a ramp there as part of handicap parking, and there's a ramp that accesses that. When the building was built, and that ramp comes up underneath the patio, covered patio. When that was built, they had left about 18 inches wide of space between the ramp railing, and then they had another railing. So there's been this like 12-inch space between railings. And I just want to remove the exterior part of the railing and have people sit on that.
How are you going to be able to do that on 12 inches?
Well, it's actually 18, because once the railings eat up the difference, so now you've got 18 inches. No, that would become your bench. That would
Here,
become
you want
bench
to-
seating. So I've got these two sections that are both 10 feet long.
This request, obviously Brant needs to have a rail because of the handicap.
Which is there, and it will remain.
It's going up, and that stays, that's going to be the handicap rail. And then there's another railing inside, or outside of that, I should
Yeah.
say, that's basically a continuation of the rail from the regular porch. Now, you only want to remove the stretch of it.
So actually, what I want to do is, so technically speaking, I want to remove 3 segments of that railing.
And at the porch, there's a railing.
2 will become a place to sit,
Okay.
which is both 9 feet long. And the third one, which is right in front of these gorgeous French double doors, I want to remove it and drop in a step, so people can access it right from
Rather
the
than come
street.
up on the side, you're
Yep.
going
And
to go.
actually, I'm going to keep it on the side too, because
Keep one on the side.
there's a sidewalk there, it just kind of makes sense.
Right.
So because the handicap ramp already has railing, he doesn't need it. It just leaves this void on the deck.
Right. He doesn't need the second rail because it's low
I
enough
get
to
it.
the
I
ground.
totally get it.
And nobody stands there anyway.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of the seating for people waiting? to
No,
get in?
we've already gone to zoning, and we're currently waiting for the next selectmen meeting to apply for an extension of a liquor license, so we can actually have outdoor dining.
Oh, okay, so but it's not really dependent on that, you want to do the seating anyway, even if it might get, what if
Well,
they say no?
yeah, there's just so many different people to talk to for anything we want to do. So there's the, the structural exterior look, which is you guys, and then there's the Board of Selectmen for approval for that, and then there's the zoning for approval, and we've passed them too, to say like, oh, if we do that, then is there a parking workout? And that's fine, that worked out.
This is all natural to weather,
Well, it's
The seat-
just,
It's
All we're doing is
just
removal.
removing.
removing.
It's just removing
And dropping
two
it in a
sections,
step, which will
three
be-
sections of rail.
Yeah, 3 sections of rail, and then drop in a step, which will be to match. So there's white trim on the building, so the risers will be white, and the tread will be,
Regardless of whether anybody is sitting on this or whatever, I mean, our purview is basically, are we okay with removing that rail? That's what's under discussion.
aesthetically, the big difference, if you see the elevation of that, there's 3 sections of railing. Removing 2 of them, you'd still see railing because of the ramp.
Correct.
The real big one for you guys is removing the one right in front of the doors. Because now you can really see the doors, and personally, I want that. I think it would look good.
I don't see anything.
Motion to approve it, accept as
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I do too.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're all over that one.
Okay, good.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks for coming in and explaining.
That was critical.
Yes.
Crash and burn. Oh, look, the electrical.
Is anyone here for Pat Griffin's project on Pleasant Street?
Paper towel.
Doesn't look like it.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to hold item 7 for representation? Hey, is this?
Smells like bourbon. It does.
I know, what's
Are
in here?
these black
Apple
architectural
cider
shingles?
vinegar.
I don't think so.
It says so. Right on. There it says
fermented.
apple cider vinegar, now all natural drink.
Okay, do you folks want to open this? Because we do approve black architectural shingles in the old historic district. Do we
Yes.
really need somebody to represent that for us?
No.
Okay,
Well, I just want, for the record, I just want to say I actually changed my mind on that. I like the old-fashioned black three-tab, not.
Yeah, me
well,
too.
the black three-tab is not even in question, but as John pointed out, there is precedent over the years for not approving architectural of any color, just approving architectural black in the old historic district.
Yeah, but have you seen it? It's kind of varied. It varies. It's got like 3 different
Well-
colors on it. Thank you.
The black one?
Yeah, the black. They're all over. You know, where you see a lot of it is Winters going in front of the coffee school. The Nantucket Historic on the corner there of. It's the one
That is,
first.
winter is where the coffee.
Okay, Winter, and then the first turn as you come around the Pacific Bank Building. What is that called? Is that
Well, that's,
First
Down
Street
Little
there.
Street.
Here it is.
that's Liberty Street.
Winter herb.
Yeah, Liberty. It's
Liberty,
Liberty.
yeah.
Okay,
Runs-
so there, on that corner, there are 3.
Yeah.
There are 3. There's the Nantucket Preservation Building, that's like 11.
Yeah.
Because that came before us. And then there's one across the street, so there's 3. And when you look at them, you can see the variation in the color. And it's called black architectural shingle.
But it comes down to, in some part, to the manufacturer, because different manufacturers,
As was demonstrated.
yeah, and if we say uniform black, then that's what they
All
should
right,
put
then we
up.
have to say uniform black because they're coming in looking
With that
like-
variegated color.
Yes, and it's
Okay,
not,
well,
it's
you-
not very historic looking.
I'll remember.
Can I, so, are you saying uniform black as in a 3-tab, or are you saying uniform black as in an architectural that has a uniform black color?
Well, to the point Abby made, I was just referring to the color variation between manufacturers, and that if we approve something that we want black or gray, that's a roof shingle, that's asphalt or fiberglass laminate, that we say, if we want it to be uniform, then we say uniform.
Okay.
I don't mind the 3-tab myself
Can
at all.
add-
I don't, yeah, why
Well,
is
the
I know
that
that-
stick with three tab?
3-tab is a no-brainer, but I noticed that a lot of people are changing to architectural
Well,
now
so
because
is it
the
a better
warranty on
product?
3-tab
What
is
is, why is the difference?
terrible.
What's the difference?
But I thought the three tab had a warranty on it too.
The 3-tab warranty is becoming less and less because the wind is blowing them off. They're too thin.
They're not
So
as
that's why a lot of
durable.
people are going to the architectural.
Okay,
now.
then
Want to.
could we be specific and say if it's architectural, that it has to be uniform black?
I think it's
I think
important that
that's a
it's
good
what we want. I
stipulation.
So
think it's a
put
good
that as
idea.
the caveat.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so with all that said, we have opened up Griffith, which is 17 Pleasant Street. Okay, HSAB comments are as expected. Prefer 3-tab, but defer to HCC policy on black architectural in OHD. I think we've just established what our new policy on that will be, is to make sure that they're uniformly black.
So I'll make a motion to approve as submitted, subject to a uniform black color.
Great.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Yes.
Oh, wait, sorry,
You have your regular commission.
yeah, Vale's back. For some reason, I was thinking this was Vale. Thank you, John.
Sorry, Stephen, that's as of.
So I make
Okay,
a
so-
motion to
I
approve
just had in my head that you,
uniform
because she didn't say
black
anything.
architectural
I
sheet.
forgot too.
Okay, so Diane has a motion on the table to approve this as architectural with the caveat that it is uniformly black.
It's,
All
And
those in
if there's a
favor of
question, you
Diane's
should bring it
motion?
in.
aye.
Aye,
You gotta write that.
Okay.
I will.
Okay, so 14 Western Ave.
Oh, boy.
Sorry about that, Steve.
No, my apologies.
It's only been, a few hours. I forgot too.
You gotta get it
Good afternoon
together.
to all of you. Very well, yourself. I can start.
Yeah,
I'm presenting to you a revision to previous certificate, and it's a change to only one elevation, and more specifically the front. Moving along
the
with
north
the,
elevation.
it is the north elevation. Yep. Moving on with the project, in the design process, we figured out that the previous approval for a bigger garage door is no longer needed, for which we decided to reduce the door and utilize some of the garage space for interior purposes, and more specifically, introducing a larger laundry room, which...
I think, that you don't need to tell us more.
Which basically introduce the opportunity to place another exterior door. And that's
Okay,
basically all.
folks, you get it, right? I mean, there used to be a huge garage door here, now it's a much more Nantucket-sized garage door with a little sort of mudroom entrance door to the side. Anybody have a problem with this guy?
No.
Okay, good. John, how you doing?
Yeah, the garage here, I don't see the...
He's looking for the supports on
The
that.
end
It's
elevation.
in the last elevations.
The brackets.
Oh, here they are, okay. Thank you.
He's actually not changing this, so does anybody want to...
Motion to approve.
I see. Okay, thanks. All those in favor of Abby's motion? Aye. Loud and clear, folks.
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
You too. Okay, 29 Orange. Oh, I have to recuse on this one. So Diane?
Yep.
You got this one covered.
Michael, now this one should let me read this. Roof walk modifications appropriate, dormer not appropriate, as proposed. They significantly alter the character of the primary elevation on Orange Street. That is what Hashab says.
Okay.
So now,
Hi, Michael Sweeney for the record. So yeah, we're planning to add 2 dormers to the front of 29 Orange and alter the structural layout of the Widow's Walk. We've based these changes on previous HDC meetings where concerns were raised with how busy the Widow's Walk would look with dormers. And we've also done some digging into the HCC handbook, and we've found some examples there, and also in the area in general of this sort of Widow's Walk with dormers look. If you look on, I think page 68 of the HDC handbook, it's actually the 2 houses that are directly across the street from number 29, number 20 and 22 Orange Street.
We don't have that in front of us.
Okay, I have it here. You want to pass that on?
Just gonna pull it up on This is what I was talking about.
do you have the age of the house, please?
1820,
1820?
yes, I believe.
And you want to change the facade of an 1820 house?
Correct.
Okay, do you want to begin, Miss Abby?
No.
No?
That was,
No.
that was a grunt. My first feeling about this is that, did somebody just say that the dormers make it look too busy? I think it takes away from its historic character to add the dormers. So that is my first take on this. I'd like to hear what other people have to say.
Alrighty. Val?
Well, I mean, looking at this, he has a good example here right across the street. There's 2 of them with double dormers. They're asking for single. Now, maybe the thing to do is to eliminate some of this trim
Yeah, simplify.
and make them simple.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have
What's the year of that house that he's pointing to? because it was done somewhere else, does not
No,
necessarily
two wrongs
mean you
don't make a right.
have to do it. What do you have to say, Johnny?
Yeah, in fact, these examples look busy as well
Yeah.
to me.
Johnny?
No comment.
No comment. Steve, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Steve?
I don't have an issue, I don't have concerns other than, based on the guidebook, these are supported. You can go down Orange Street, you can see these. My only concern would be that these would be simplified to match the historical record. So
Well, they
instead of
have-
having like a Greek revival gable.
It has the eyebrow over the windows down below.
But sorry,
May I finish?
what is the date?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Thought you were-
I don't know, I didn't catch the actual date.
I believe 1820.
Yeah, so that is.
So my feeling would be that, this is clearly, obviously, an important structure, contributing historical, everything that's important to us, would be that I would support holding for revision subject to, just speaking with regards to the dormers, that they would be simplified to track dormers within a 10-year period of either side of the date this was constructed. That would be my personal feeling. The other feeling I would have is that the Widow's Walk would be, probably no more than 2/3 of the width shown.
You got that right.
I just think that that's structurally, and looking at examples of what else exists, I would want to see that smaller. So
I
those are my
think they're
comments.
replacing it in the same size, though, that it is.
That's kind of a trade-off in my mind. You know what I mean? If you're going to do the dormers, make the Widow's Walk more in conformance with the other homes, as a historical reference, it's a little bit smaller. So those are my thoughts.
My thought is that this house is busier than the house next to it, and that with the rather heavy front door, that the dormers make it too busy on the front, the size of this. Entry stairs, friendship stairs. The house down has a very simple front door, and it just makes the front, to me, it makes the front of this building, which was built in 1822, busy. So I don't know what anybody wants to do. If you want to make a motion.
What did John say?
He said that he had no comment.
No, I just found something. Steve is right. Years back, maybe 20 years ago, we set up the policy of roof walks not being more than 2/3 of the length of the roof. Right.
It's already there, though.
That's existing, so unless they took it down. This is a contributing house, also I want to add, and individually significant.
Right.
My suggestion would be to hold for some revisions to those dormers, simplify them, and try to get some historical context on the houses across the street, see what period they're from.
Okay, yeah.
Well, could I just add about the detail on the dormers here, because it is a post-classical revival house. The pediments on top, actually, if you were going to do them, they're probably period correct, because, I mean, not the two flanking sides, those could be pared down, but I think actually with the big Greek portico there, the pediments on top actually go. Do you know what I mean?
I think if the concern is that it's busy, to simplify them would solve that problem.
And I think Abby's point is just simply that whatever be put there be historically correct
yes.
with regards to references. And my idea was just that it be a 5 or 10 year period either side.
That's,
Just summarize.
so we have a motion on the floor to hold for revisions, and for you to supply more background information as to the age of the houses across the Street. And may I have all those in favor of that motion?
Motion to hold for the.
Abby's motion.
Thank you.
Revisions and further information.
Just so I'm clear, are we simplifying the dormers or are we
We're sim-
keeping the pediment?
I think
That's-
that,
Well, that's up
That's
to
up
you.
to
I guess
you.
We're kind of divided
We're not
here.
telling you.
I think it should be historically correct. Find out the exact period, see what other like buildings have
Yeah,
for tops of dormers.
okay.
So,
In the building built in 1820.
And just to add, and it's for clarity, and I believe we're saying, and dormers relative to the width of the widow's walk, so that you're kind of.
And
getting
that's
into
up,
the
no,
benefit.
that's up to him to do.
No, I understand that. I'm expressing what my concern was.
Okay, but we don't
Because when
tell
it comes
him,
back-
he has
I understand.
thing
Okay.
for revisions
I understand.
okay, so we're holding for revisions and information.
and information. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm in favor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, next up, 39 Main Street. 15 minutes. Keep going. That one's you, Johnny. So it's a garage.
It's a one-car garage.
So it is.
Main Street.
That's the garagiest garage I've seen. in a while.
Yeah.
We're not pulling any tricks here. This is a one-car garage.
That is
I
so
know.
refreshing.
Isn't that nice? No pool.
Okay, comments from no pool. Great.
I think it's appropriate.
Wow.
I think it's very good.
Thank you. Motion to approve.
All those in favor of Abby's motion to approve?
I,
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thanks. 1A Spring Street.
Oh, gosh. This goes to 29 Orange.
No? No takers? Oh, this is another one of those roof change to architecturals.
We're losing.
Where is Spring Street?
Right at the
by
corner.
Ponso.
It's the little
Oh, that
street that, of this side of the right-hand bend, Union Street.
Yeah. All right. That is OHD,
Yes,
right?
HTC, yeah, the
Okay.
old area.
Now, so we could do two things on this. We could hold for representation, or we could do what we did with Ms., what was her name, earlier? You know,
Yeah.
Pat Griffin's place. And put the stipulation on. Am I correct in assuming that it's black?
I don't.
Oh, and there's comment, so.
I would dare say
Yeah.
it would probably read similar
Does
to
it
the Pat
say-
Griffin application.
Oh, now, see, it's not just roof, it's clapboard
We
too.
gotta, sorry, kids, we gotta hold this for representation.
Yeah.
So moved.
Thank you. All those in favor of Diane's motion to hold item number 11 for representation?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, Lisa is still down at the ZBA, so can we
Move those.
hold those guys?
All of them?
12, 13, 14, 15,
16.
17, and
She
18.
said she'll be up in a little while, but there's no point in holding everybody
Okay,
up.
motion to hold 12 through 16 for the end of the meeting, towards the end of the meeting?
Yeah. And the same for views to be heard, 1 through 3.
Was there a vote on that?
So
Okay,
moved.
now obviously I'm recusing from all this, so Diane's chairing this.
No, so.
Yeah, can we add that to my motion?
Yes.
As
What's next,
well?
number
All
4?
those in favor of Abby's motion to hold
All of my stuff.
all of
12 through 16?
12 through
Oh,
16
hang on,
and
we
1
have a
through...
question from the audience.
And then-
Yes.
Several of us here to look at 1, 2, and 3 on views as well as 14.
Yeah, Lisa Botticelli is representing those. She's down at the ZBA right below us right now. She's just finishing up reviewing an application, so she's going to come up. So what this board has just done is push that stuff aside for a moment so that we can go ahead with the applications where people are here to represent. So it will be heard. It will be heard, yeah. Okay, so now we are at 43 Westchester Street. Nobody?
A motion to hold
Okay.
for representation.
All right. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Greglin. Jeffrey? There you are.
Go to hell.
Uh,
Excuse me.
That wasn't Steve. Is that your record?
His
Yeah, I feel that way too.
My ex-wife.
You're actually what? Which one, John?
John,
Which one? Which ex-wife?
Slanderer.
Hey, guys. Oh, how's it going? Good. Spring. Spring is here. Oh, nice. Huh? Okay, your name for the record.
Jeff Kashulik.
Tony Shepley?
Okay, so gentlemen, what do you have?
Jeff Kashulik?
John, how are you, sir?
Which one
Good to
is
see you.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how you doing, Steve?
Getting there.
Hey, Gregory.
We have two employee housing units
Uh-huh.
on 11A Gregland,
Okay.
front to back. First building is a four-bedroom. Both sets of plans, there's two sets of plans, for each house.
Is this the one closest to the street, though?
Yeah, the first one is
Okay.
the four-bedroom is the one that's closest to the street, correct?
John, are you ready to start?
No, I'm trying to
No.
get the window shade.
Oh, I think it's on the front page. Diane?
Second page. No, that's
What is the dotted lines above the window?
Here, John.
Jeff,
Is that an extra piece of trim
Which,
or?
oh.
on the side elevations, like on page 820, south
They have like
elevation.
roll-down shutters or something going in? No? You see the dashed lines? There you go. It's above.
And they're on the
It's
east
above all the
elevation.
windows.
On the low page.
Yeah, it's only on this.
You want to know what I think it is? Because it's also following the silhouette of the eave on the west elevation. I think, is that showing flashing?
It's only logical, yeah.
It's showing head flashing over the windows, and it's showing flashing that it's attaching the little single-story gable back to the... But in any event, it's something that doesn't concern us.
Yeah, we won't be looking at that.
We won't be looking.
No, I just didn't know if it was a
Yeah.
piece of trim or,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
good
know.
question.
Do we, basically from what I see at this moment, looking at it quickly, I don't have any major problem with it. I was wondering, one of the things is the wood-clad windows. I don't want to have plastic muttons and stuff like that in the windows. Can't we have regular wooden windows?
What's the manufacturer?
Anderson.
So we actually approve these all the time.
Do we? All right.
Yeah,
I've
they're-
never seen it.
The muttons are made of wood, and then they've got a coating on top of them.
Okay, I just hadn't seen it sort of spelled out
Yeah.
before. So The building is 26 high, and
It's cute.
it's
Yeah.
fit in there,
Yep, I agree.
so that's it. That's all I
Okay.
have to say.
Yes, John,
Note that.
you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
It's a nice design. I find that you have 14 double hung windows, and 8 casement windows. Now, they have to be changed. Do they tilt outwards, or do they tilt inwards from the top?
Casements would actually be hinged at the side, and typically we make them look like a double hung window. Sometimes we use them in an egress
You're going to have to find a
situation.
way, the anything that tips beyond the wall, you have to change it. In other words, like this one here. See the arrows? They'll tip in from the top. They call them hoppers,
Yeah, that's actually an
or you
awning.
can make them double hung. Either way, you still get air, you know?
John's view is that windows, casements, awnings that come out rather than go in are not historically appropriate because you're kind of seeing that thing coming out. So it's either fixed, it's in like a hopper, or it's fixed, yeah, or you could take and cut up these windows and do little 3/3 windows. So, is that the extent of your comments on this?
What was the other one?
Kills egress. Although the awning would not be egress.
The front door.
You got another comment?
The other comment, the front door should be a 6-panel, or, get away from all the lights, glass, half glass, and doors. That denotes the front door, people making deliveries, and that's the way to go.
Any room for side lights here?
I don't think so. Architecture calls for sideways, do you?
No, I just kind of put a little glass in there.
Leave it the way it is.
Well, let's not worry too much about that for the moment. So, Val.
I'm
John,
good.
hold on. Were you all set? Great. So go ahead, Val.
I know that that's a sticking point for John, but it isn't for myself, especially given the context. Perhaps the 2 dormer windows could be fixed because that's the front of the building, and then the rest could stay the way they are. That's just my
Yeah.
opinion.
Okay. How about you, Abby?
I'm fine with most of the elevations, but I think the front elevation needs a little more prominence. And I was wondering, could you shift the porch over so that it's centered under the dormers, and maybe add one more light, 6 light into that dormer on the second floor to give that some. 3 windows in the dormer, and shift the front door, center that under those dormers, and shift the porch over to so that it's centered on the front of the building. Right, well, just looking at it, it seems a little cockeyed to me. It seems very heavy on the left and not balanced. That's what and I think it doesn't look like the front of the house. It looks like something that was added on already. And I think it'd be nice to have a little more formality to it, even though it's a cottage.
So, okay, thanks. So let me ask a couple of questions. One of my fellow commissioner, John. John, if they want to get light into that entry hole, are you okay with those doors that have 3 lights at the top and then 4 panels down below?
Sure, no problem.
That's okay? All right, so then you get your light. You don't. I agree with Diane that side lights would be a little bit heavy for this building. So that would be one way of handling the front door. And can you guys center the porch? Just scoot it over? Or is there-
It's very tough because these lots are small, so
Yeah.
from a floor plan perspective, I think it would create a whole lot of other unintended consequences. We essentially move it into the room to the right. So,
Not only that, if you look at the site plan, the parking comes in.
What about not having a porch? I think it's the porch that's throwing me off. It's
Yeah,
so-
not having a porch.
I think it's adorable.
yeah.
And everything doesn't have to be symmetrical.
Well, it just, in its asymmetry, it just doesn't have the presence of the front of the house. That's,
You could save us some money by eliminating the porch, but if you've ever stood outside fumbling for your keys while it's pouring rain, it's really a nice feature. So we were actually trying to be thoughtful. This is for our staff who we care about, so it's try to give them a place to.
I'm not voting on this, but I'd like to make a comment. I think what might help on that front porch to delineate and create a little bit more balance is if you were to add a rail across to the left of the door, like a typical rail, and maybe on the right a little bit, so it has a better sense. There's a sense of entry, there's a sense of formality. Right now, it's more of a porch roof on the front of a house, and I don't know.
You're talking about a rail that would be open, symmetrical about the front door, and then go over.
Yeah,
to the
just
side.
a railing, so something might help. Just a
What,
thought.
what about reducing the porch so it's over the front door?
And that's another guys.
That,
Diane, we heard two proposals now, one from Stephen and one from Diane, to essentially eliminate all the porch over the window so that you have it over the front door. It's symmetrical about the front door, but it's just basically half the size of what it is now.
So the road in the back.
it makes it much less heavy.
Adding that post and the rail.
I don't mind the porch.
I don't either.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're starting to finish.
His idea is like that.
Just this minor.
Yeah, post and the rail.
I make it,
Yes.
can I make a motion?
Post and the rail.
voting.
Yeah.
No, I understand, but that's.
Okay, so hang on. I don't think we necessarily need to. So it sounds, Abby, like you're okay with the
Yeah.
porch. You'll be, that's acceptable. Just leaving the porch the way it is.
Yeah, right, so why don't I make a motion to approve as submitted with the front door remaining the same?
What we were going to do for John's benefit was to do the
A three-light, four-panel.
above, 4-panel
Okay,
below.
then it's approved through staff as submitted with the front door changing to a 3-light, 4-panel door.
Sounds good to me. All those in favor of
Kevin,
Diane's?
I gotta understand it right.
Yeah.
The windows that have 6 lights in them,
Yes.
they're gonna be double hung.
No.
No, we didn't
That's
make
my
that
question.
motion because I
You said
think
from
that
the
some
side.
of these have to meet egress. Some of them are egress windows, not all of them. And also, we were thinking, John, that the ones on the side wouldn't really be visible.
Well, I'm saying the ones that are on the gable ends,
Yes,
them meet the requirement to get in and out of them. So that you.
those obviously.
The dormer ones should be changed. And the, these 2 ones here should be changed, to match the basic requirement that we've used in the past.
All right. So, what do you guys want to do about that?
The thought behind the awning is it's a pretty efficient window because if you leave it open for ventilation, but it rains, you're shedding the rain off. It only projects out about that far in its normal state unless you release the catch, and then you could get out.
I understand everything you're
Yeah,
saying. but,
right.
It's a past policy has been to knock them down, because they're not a typical Nantucket style window. They first started in Sconset in the early 1800s. A couple of them were there, and maybe 8 in the whole village. So that's why they're not a typical Nantucket house, window.
Well, we allow architectural shingles to be old still.
Okay. Should I just proceed with the motion?
Yeah, see what the vote is on that motion.
Diane, was that your motion?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so there is a motion on the table to approve this the way it is, with the front door changing to a 3 light up above, 4 panel down below. All those in favor of Diane's motion? Okay,
Any opposed?
Thank you, I appreciate
I know.
the most important protection of the sidewalk.
Well, then we shouldn't put architectural shingles downtown.
Consider the area.
The context.
Chairman, I'm going to recuse myself.
Okay. Do you mean, John, for this application, or are you leaving?
No, I have to leave.
Okay. Let the record reflect that John is leaving at 2:15. That's a real, if you didn't gather, that's a real thing with him.
Got it. Sorry to bring it up.
It's your fault.
Yeah.
It is
No, I'll
actually your
accept
fault, yes.
Well, timing-wise, this actually has casements proposed, so.
Well, but
Maybe that just works
casements
out.
are no good either.
That's what I meant.
Accept is, other than a double hung.
I think the key is to, if there is rooms that they could be something else, then for his sake they should be.
You know, try to,
Like a laundry room, I mean, you can have double hung.
Balancing act.
okay, so, how tall is the house in the front?
First floor.
26?
No, it's a living room. Right here.
Please.
It can be, they don't need to be.
Yeah.
That one is over our counter, that's why that one is for that.
Rear.
Oh, so obviously, Stephen, you are now on this and
What is this? I
all
don't
the
like
other
that.
applications for that.
So what would you do? You want me to begin?
Please do.
All right. With that whole conversation we had before, on the front of this building, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows. 1,
You
2,
mean
3, 4,
5
5
awnings?
awnings.
Yeah.
And you have got on 2 front doors that look the same. You have a set of lights and a panel which don't go with that front door. I would like to see the window next to the, which I would suppose is the front door, because it's under the porch. I would like to see that window. There's no reason to have that window of a 3/3. I would like the 3/3s changed where they possibly can be. You have 1, 2, I don't have to count. You have a whole bunch, you know that. And I can see that. They should be changed to the regular windows. I think on the north elevation, it needs more fenestration. And in the west elevation, the windows up in the gable need to be separated. The windows, you can't have front doors on every door. You have to pick one front door, maybe it's that 3 with 4 panel below it. But every door you have are all the same. The lights are not acceptable. On your little dormer on the front elevation east, I think that front elevation is kind of busy with the front door, the garage doors, and the dormer up above. Those windows should not be ganged. They should be separated. The cheek wall should be brought in so that the dormer is smaller, or put a 4th window in and separate them. But I think that facade needs to be separated. How far back is the wing with the garage doors?
It's the building to the rear of the lot, so I would say it's approximately 80 feet or so, 80 to 90 feet.
No, how far back?
8 feet from the
Eight,
front.
8 feet from the front? So that's not,
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
it's just too much going on on that facade. The south facade, you have the 3/3 windows, and then you have, it looks like a one-panel window. What is that?
It's a cellar sash.
Here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it should be the same as these things if you're going to have them.
You mean do those as casements or awnings?
Yeah.
Diane?
Yes. And how far out is the deck? It should be only 8 feet. Looks like it's a,
It's quite a bit more than that.
yeah.
You're so smart.
Because on that side of the building, you're coming in at 30 feet. So that's what I have to say at the moment.
Great. Val,
Well,
I can come back to you.
no, it's okay. I agree with some of the things Diana said, but I guess my main comment would be in light of John's issue. This is the front, this is what we're going to see from the road, so if this side could be somewhat altered so that these awnings are not awnings, maybe double hung.
The ones in the dormer,
Yeah.
if you look at the amount of space between the sill of the window and
They
where
could
it
be
intersects,
bigger.
Yeah, you could.
They
you
could
could-
easily become double.
Now, I know that their program inside is they're putting a counter there, but maybe you could flip the back and the front dormer, because that has big double hung windows. I don't know, just eliminate some of your awning encasements. Like the 9 lights, those don't have to be casement, that's a bathroom, that could be a smaller double hung. So I think there's an overabundance of them. If you could just eliminate a few would be good. And that's it.
Okay. Now,
I agree with Val and Diane. On the last application, John said that the front door would be a panel door with 3 lights above. So I think that should be consistent with this one. And you could leave that second door as like a second door with the glass in it, like nix the side light. And then on the second floor, on also the front east elevation, I would move that, whatever that window's going to become, the awning window, move that out of the corner so that it has its own corner board or whatever's going on down there. It just looks a little tight in that
well, that's
corner.
kind of a troublesome place.
Yeah, I agree. And then I agree also with Diane about bringing the porch back to 8 feet, which is our usual request.
All right. Thanks. Stephen?
I agree with some of the comments. I mean, I'm going to reserve my comments to what is possibly going to be seen, which is really going to be the front of the structure, and obliquely, I think, what I'll call the right side. I would affirm the whole hierarchy of a front door. I understand you have really 2 dwellings here. So you really do have 2 front entries, but for the sake of the design language, I would say, pick one and make that your front entry door. I would suggest that in terms of that dormer, if there were any way maybe you could utilize, it looks to me your program is to get some lighting in on that stair, some natural lighting. I don't know if you have room on the rear dormer for, it looks like it's a chase all the way to the second floor ceiling. I don't know if you have room on that second floor ceiling maybe for a skylight. And that would allow you to eliminate the window here by putting it on the, you know, a small
window?
skylight.
Which window are you talking about?
The one on the left.
Yeah,
That
but then
little
it's
thingy?
a big expanse of,
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
has to do
I'm okay
something.
with that. I'm okay with that. I don't think every dormer has to be filled with windows or not ganged or things. I mean, it's just, I'm also considering the context, which is where these homes are. You know, currently it's, you know, it's being upgraded from a commercial industrial dead zone. And this is a nice, I think it's a nice design. That's it.
Thanks. So the only thing I want to reiterate is about the front doors, which is, I believe that it's been said by a few of the members that the quote front door, which is in the gable forward piece, should be the same type that we approved on the other house in the front. And then the so-called side door, mudroom door, that can remain the 9 light, just if you could eliminate that single side light piece. I think that's kind of a little too much for that. That's it for me. So
What about
yes?
the windows? We need to be specifically about the little windows, what they're going to be.
Well, you know, I would say that in the dormers, first of all, Abby is absolutely correct in wanting to move that one window further away from the corner. I mean, that's just a waterproofing nightmare in that one corner. I'd like to see little double hungs up there.
Okay.
on that
So
wall.
3 double hungs.
Yeah. Oh, are we trying to do this through staff?
No, I don't know.
I think there's enough revisions here
Okay.
that I kind of want to see.
Then I
it
won't
again.
worry
Not
about it
that I,
now.
You know, want to spend any more time on it than necessary, but I think that we might want to look for some revisions on this.
Okay. So I make a motion to hold for revision.
All those in favor of Diane's motion to look for some minor revisions?
I,
Aye.
Do all of them?
So it's 1, 2,
And then two split doors, windows.
Okay, next up, 11 Sherburne Turnpike. Joseph.
nice catch. Those golfer reflexes.
I'm gonna say, it's all business. Yeah, they're gonna get drawings in before the next meeting.
on the agenda.
Yeah, we can put you, if you guys can turn this around, we can put you at the head of next Tuesday's agenda. Perfect. Just to keep it rolling along, because you're not looking at a lot of changes.
Not at all.
Okay, so you want, okay. I should actually recuse from any of this conversation.
Oh, okay.
But do you want to discuss this with Diane?
Yes, Diane, because John left, I'd only have 4 members on all my applications. And I think that people here to speak about them, so I'd like to either make a decision to move forward or not. And I have an appointment at 3, so.
Well, we could take you now. Which one did you?
Well, I know the ones that people are here to speak to, so I would skip over 44 Cliff.
Lily, Salros,
There's mainly, I don't know.
36 Lily.
Yeah. But I'm saying that I don't want to go ahead with a 4-member board. I'd rather wait until next Tuesday, so I have 5 members.
For the whole thing?
I think so.
For everything?
No, for the Lily Street applications.
Okay. So we go back to this
I
one.
would probably hold 44 Cliff, like a full board on that, and the Lily Street applications.
Okay, so what, do you want to do 47 Nobody Farm Road?
Yeah, but I can wait for after Joe for that.
All right, we'll do Joe, and then we'll do your 47 Nobody Farm, and what about Salros? This was
Yeah, I
down
can
to
do
pretty
that.
silly
Yeah,
little thing.
yeah.
All right? Is that good with you? All right, so we'll call,
You think that, I'll let them.
Again, I'm recusing from this, so
I know, I'm not asking
somebody
you.
needs to make an announcement.
Yeah,
of what
because,
just happened.
see, some of these people are here for, just for 30 years.
Right.
okay, we are going to, due to, there is not a full board at this time, we are going to hold,
John left.
are we listening? We're going to hold 36 Lily Street.
Yeah.
For what reason?
Because we do not have a full board.
5-member board. Well, okay, I suppose it's okay, but I mean, the Supreme Court has worked in even numbers for the last year.
Well, we're not the Supreme Court. We're,
John McLaughlin left.
I understand it's the Supreme Court of ATC, and we've been sitting here for an hour and a half.
It's the applicant's choice.
Do you not
Do you-
come
do you-
Tuesday?
I don't know, I've been sitting here wasting time for an hour
Well,
and
I
a
was
half.
at a zoning board hearing, I sat on that hearing, so I was downstairs sitting on that board. So, and that's why I wasn't here earlier, I apologize, but we had conflicting meetings.
Respond to that. Why it's the
So my time isn't worth anything to you like this.
No, I was sitting on.
let's not be rude, please.
I'm not being rude, am I?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm just explaining to you that I'm sitting on a zoning board.
I understand that, but you're here now.
I'm here now, but I don't have a 5-member board.
Okay, well,
I mean, I can go ahead, it's,
no, I didn't mean to be rude, I'm sorry, I thought we could proceed.
well, I thought, I was
The
trying to be polite
applicant-
by letting you know ahead of time that I was probably.
So we're meeting again now when?
On Tuesday, where we will have a full board. The applicant, who is Ms. Boscelli, has the right to say whether she will proceed
I understand.
with a
But
4-member
Tuesday-
or 5-member.
Tuesday at 1 o'clock.
No, Tuesday at 4:30.
Ugh,
Is
okay.
there any way I could just ask, we will not be here Tuesday, but we'll be back Wednesday, is there any way we can push it to Thursday?
Well, I don't know if you're going to have a meeting Thursday.
Are we able to take information for people who cannot be here today?
Absolutely, you can email myself or Kathy.
I mean, we live here year-round, this is 2 days that we're
Sorry.
not.
I just don't know if they're going to do it Thursday, that's fine with me, if they're going to meet Thursday,
Okay.
that's the decision they made tonight. Do it today?
Yes.
Say anything you write.
That's it.
Very
John,
good.
the other choice is, can we hear it today since the applicant is here and the people are here, and have John Mullen, and she accepted that, John Mullen in on it?
It's really Lisa's
And
choice.
it's up to- it's
Well, it's
it's
Lisa's.
his choice to, if he agrees.
It's his choice to Mullen. It's her choice to have, to hear it with him mulling.
Sorry, Joe.
I'm-
No, I'm sorry too, but I'm saying sorry to Joe. because-
No, it's all right. No, listen, I completely understand.
So, Lisa, what do you wish to do?
Well, as long as you think John will mull it in, I don't have an issue doing that.
Okay.
As long as you think he will do that. I don't want to be short of a board member. I don't know what his history is on mulling in.
I believe he's mulling in with,
Well, I mean,
I think he's done it before.
yes.
Yeah.
I think he has.
And this is going to be a long,
It's going to be a
long,
multiple
long, so
process, so I don't.
if you want to get started on it.
All right, let's then get started.
there's a number of things. It is up to the applicant if they wish to fill out their application.
Right.
Anyone from the public who lets me know, as long as it's not anonymous, your name and address, any email, letter can be submitted with the application and will be distributed to the commissioners and will also be read into the record while at the time of the hearing of the application.
Which would be next Tuesday at 4:30.
Correct,
If not heard today.
correct.
So, Lisa, the choice is up to you.
Why don't you just do it?
Okay. Sorry, Joe.
That's all right. No.
So are we taking them all out of
This
order
one's not going to
then?
be contentious at all.
Are we taking them all out of order? So we're going to start with,
So we need a motion
We
to
don't
do
wanna
the
waste-
views to
I know.
1 through 3.
We'll do one, are we,
We'll skip my other ones.
Yeah.
Since they're here.
so we'll do 14,
And then flip over to these.
and, so I need a motion on the floor to here, at this time, under new business, item 14, and under views to be heard, 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, so moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None.
So we're on 14 of new business.
Yes. Which is Lily Street Foundation Administration.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, do you want to make your presentation, and then I will read what Tashnab has to say.
This is an application to take an existing building that is on the lot and to lower it by, I believe it's a couple of feet on the 2 to 3 feet on the site. and to remove all the decks from it. And then revise some of the fenestration on the building.
Alrighty, so this one
It's the whole building that's in the, here I have a survey plan.
is the foundation and the fenestration.
Yes. Sorry.
Do you have pictures?
Looks like they were submitted.
No, I have pictures here. I just wondered whether Abby had pictures.
Oh, is that the garage that we go down?
Yes. All right, and Hashat says it's a contributing business building, but they have no concerns. That's Hashat. So,
Is it the studio, Lisa?
Yeah, it's the Gambrell Studio.
Gotcha.
do you want to begin?
It's just to put your windows and doors and stuff. Yeah, I think it's fine.
Steve?
And I like lowering it.
Lisa, I'm just curious, what's the reason behind lowering?
I think because they want to have more of a direct connection to the landscape rather than have that elevated deck.
Okay. Yeah,
They don't see any need to have it elevated.
Yeah, I mean, it works for me, and I think it simplifies things. On the existing west, you're 6.
Yeah, hang
So,
on, yep.
so is that just like a sliding storm?
That was an existing sliding door that we're removing.
Okay. It just seems, so is that a storm that, it looks like it's a vertical
I think it's a barn door.
barn, okay, that's.
That slides.
I think this is it.
That's the existing.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. That's helpful. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have any concerns, I was just curious.
Okay.
Abby?
And the studio west elevation, that replaced window with the door, does that face into the lily pond?
That faces,
Or is that on the side?
that faces, hold on, I have to just go to my site plan too. That faces towards the lily pond. That's what we would consider
I was
west.
just wondering why you didn't have more fenestration on it. You-
I think just because of the plan, they wanted to keep the entrance small. And because of the barn. And we can put more windows if you would like them.
Well,
I think they're trying to use the existing openings that were there.
so the gambrel right now faces onto the way, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So this is actually, I know it gets twisted around, so the west is, this,
Yeah.
I think the west actually faces up towards West Chester Street. isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I wouldn't mind another window on that elevation, but it's,
Which elevation is that?
it's the west
west.
elevation.
Okay.
It's where they
Oh, they took that door out.
yeah.
Right.
And I don't have a problem
window
with the
into the wall.
foundation, because
I think the window would be good there too.
I think replacing the foundation in that area is probably a good idea. There's going to be some wet issues there.
I have no suggestions other than I agree with putting a window in on that west elevation.
Just add another one to the right
Yeah.
of the existing?
Yeah, where the door, or where that door was, just put
Oh, okay. On
another
that
window
side.
in, would be good. And other than that, can I have a motion to approve with the addition of a window on the west elevation?
We'll just make it symmetrical with the door?
Yeah.
Yes, that would be great.
Okay.
So moved.
All those in favor? Any opposed? No. Alrighty,
Abby's.
yes.
Val.
Could be.
Oops, sorry. That was Val.
Oh, it was Val's motion, sorry.
That's all right.
Well, I'll have a chance.
All right, the next one is demolition of building at 36 Lily Street.
which is the, what they're calling the stable.
It's number one
Yeah.
on views. All right, would you like to tell us what you want to do?
Well, in this building, we would like to demolish this structure. It's listed as non-contributing on the historic structures form, and we're going to rebuild a smaller structure in its, in the same style and actually appearance of part of the existing building.
Okay, what I have from Hashem, it says that it was built between 1923 and 1926, referred to as the Old Stable, highly visible from Lily Pond. It is, according to the 2013 Nantucket Historic Library, it is contributing.
Oh, how come this says non-contributing?
Maybe yours is older.
I don't know.
And it says more research is needed before application progresses. And they, again, comments were more historical information needed.
Okay.
So, shall we hold on that?
Yeah,
I think, yeah, could I make a motion to hold for more historic information on this building?
I do think that part of this building is much newer, and so one of the thoughts was to retain the architecture from the original structure. And then when we found that that this form said non-contributing, that's when we thought we would request to have the entire thing demolished.
Okay.
But I think the design was based on keeping part of the structure.
Okay, so we'll hold for more info, right?
Okay. Yep.
All those in favor of holding for more info, Abby's motion?
Aye.
And
so then we'll just track the other.
we'll track the
new cottage with that.
the new, and what about the cottage? We're tracking the new dwelling. Do you want to track the cottage too?
Well, no, I was thinking we'll track the cottage with that, but I think they're here mainly to speak about the new dwelling.
All right,
so I
then
would
let's
think we'd
hear
hear
the
that.
new dwelling, and we'll track
The
the
cottage,
cottage.
which was going to replicate that building if we were able to take it down.
All right.
Okay, so this is the new one.
The hashtag statement is overall massing, overwhelm site and context. Shockingly inappropriate. Will change the Lily Pond forever. Hold to
track
research on existing buildings.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
So we can do that if you want to.
And do we have this letter from Thomas Lowry? Do you want me to read it in?
Yes, I think we'll email
Okay. Without much time to study the drawings in detail, it is difficult to make any cogent comment. There are four things which jump out at me at first glance. The fenestration appears to be boringly regular on all sides. INHO, more suburban than with Nantucket in mind. The compass rose is,
What's that mean?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
That might be an acronym for something.
Read it a little further, because it's not actually correct.
IMHO, in my humble opinion.
Oh, thank you.
The compass roses
I didn't know what that meant.
wrong by a lot.
What
The part- The compass roses.
I don't know what he means by that.
Are wrong by a lot. I don't need it. The part of the house that faces to Lily Street will be facing almost due east.
Well, the direction.
Well, we have a survey that shows that north is here.
The private way noted on the drawing between the two lots doesn't exist at this point, and the public way that does exist between our house and the Lawrence house is not shown at all. the other way noted private that runs towards the Lily Pond is, I believe, a public way. The dimensions of all the ways would need to be scaled to figure it all out. Where does the parking go? 3 homes means a lot of cars. I hate to think that our view of the Lily Pond is going to be transformed to tailpipes. Are the cars going to park in the wetlands? Thank you. This is from Thomas Lowry, with copies to the neighbors, and it was submitted on Thursday, April 13th.
What address is he playing on? Does he say?
He is 40.
Gracie's Mansion.
He's on this side,
Up
he's
at
right
the
here.
top of the
Yeah, Gracie's Mansion is his email.
The Lawrences, so he's referring to that way that goes between those two buildings.
Which
And
is shown.
do we have any neighbors or anybody who would like to listen to speak? Please come up and circle the table.
John?
All right. So, Lisa, please continue.
Well, I mean, I guess the idea was to try to build a building that was kind of end of the barn vernacular because of the existing stable building and what they're calling the Smithy building that you guys just approved. So we used the gambrel as a model for the structure. You know, in terms of the scale of the building and its relative, you know, I hate that comments, I think I would say that, you know, I would just have to put more thought into that. I mean, I think we thought that the gambrel was an appropriate style. We thought the way that it sat on the site was appropriate, given the constraints with the wetland and the other buildings that we're trying to retain the character of. So, and regarding the parking, I do think that, you know, the parking is not under review at the moment. The, you know, location of the buildings is, and the general access is, but we haven't actually laid out the parking yet. But that will obviously be part of another application for you guys. And it will, you know, it can be within 25 feet of a wetland buffer. That is sort of how the Concom reviews those items, but we don't know where that's going to be yet.
It sounds, if I may,
Diane, do you want the neighbors to speak?
Yes. If Lisa was finished, are you finished, Lisa?
Yeah, can I have your name?
I'm John West.
Okay.
And this is Mark Forsythe.
John?
Go ahead.
No, fine. Thank you. You want to go?
It sounds like there's a little bit of precociousness here where it's not all planned out. They're presenting you an incomplete plan at the present time. And I know it's not relevant to this particular board, but I have a yellow Labrador retriever, and irrelevant to building a home in Nantucket and irrelevant to the HTC, but he literally swam across this entire lot last week after the heavy rain. So it may not be wetlands, but it sure is wet, and it's wet enough for a yellow lab to swim right smack across the entire yard. I've sent you pictures of this.
Did you? I haven't seen it.
I haven't sent you a picture of my lab swimming, but you can notice it's at least a foot deep all the way across. That's all I have to say. I have nothing more, and I didn't mean to be rude. I apologize
That's
for
right.
that. We and our buddies.
Right. Mr.
So,
Forsythe?
Yeah, Mark Forsythe at 8 Gull Island Lane. So I abut both the barn and studio, and we'll be looking at the east elevation. So I don't want this to come across as not in my backyard, even though it actually is. But we are for the, you know, maintenance and upgrading of that property. And as you know, you just heard 6 Gull Island Lane, which is our other east neighbor, and that job will be starting. So there's going to be a lot going on in the neighborhood, but we're for it overall. I think the broader impact on the neighborhood has us a little bit concerned, both from the wetland perspective, but I know you don't deal with that on this board, but I would say just the scale of the new main building going into very kind of environmentally sensitive and accessible spot. You know, it's a very natural setting down there. So that's one concern, is just the overall scale of this particular property. I guess there's some confusion on our end, is are we looking at this project in its entirety with all three structures and dwellings? Or, because we were actually only notified as an abutter about the studio barn, but obviously there's impact for the whole project, because you're talking now 3 dwellings. So we're trying to approach
Well,
it.
just because there's separate properties, then butters lists come out however they come out, yeah.
No, I understand that,
Yeah.
but it just, you know, we don't know if it's going to be sold off as individual, not that we care, but as far as approvals and feedback and input to us in the neighborhood, everybody's looking at it, the whole project, obviously. I guess the other, you mentioned the gambrel roof, and I know the studio barn is a very small dwelling and has a gambrel roof. And I think there's one other gambrel roof on Lily Street, but there are no others. And there's no others on Westchester Street, nor are there any on Lily Street, except for, I think, one.
There's one,
And
yeah.
Center
Pretty
Street, there aren't
historic
any.
one.
So I'm not really convinced that that's the appropriate roof line for that property. Now, I know it also kind of mimics Gracie's Mansion, but in reality, Gracie's Mansion, even though it's been historically there, it's kind of an out-of-place structure for the neighborhood too, but it's there. So, but the scale is massive on that building, which is directly behind us. So we just feel like 38 windows, 7 doors, some of which is quite large, and it feels more Hampton-ish than it does Nantucket to us. So, and then the parking I won't get into, and the landscape plan and access. And I don't know if this is your dealings, but the water management and how the massive new roof structures are going to displace water, how these larger foundations are going to displace water. I don't know if that's your purview, or
No.
the zoning's purview, or
Building
Concom.
Well, and
what.
Concom. Concom will address that, but.
But the water is as John indicated, is a real problem there. I mean, we have a crawl space, and it's constant work. I mean, I feel like I'm living on a yacht, quite honestly.
Well, there's no intention of developing any basement space on these, which is one of the reasons we put the existing gambrel shed just on a slab, because we know that it's not conducive to basement.
Mm-hmm.
One question that does at some time need to be answered, just so we know what the setbacks are of the different houses, is the third question that Ms. Laurie brought up, was the private way and the public way. I don't know what the difference is. I don't see those on
Well,
site plan.
Yeah, we just got Jeff Blackwell's plan, and we used his email, his DWG file, and he knows this way, but he doesn't give us any notations about it. I guess I'd have to just do more research on that.
Okay, that would
Based
be
on the
good.
look.
What did you commissioners think of having a view?
I think that would be
It was on the-
helpful.
it was on the
I don't know what the
I know it was,
public way is.
but now we know a little
I
more
couldn't
about
find it, because
That's
it's down the hill.
It's down the hill. It's
I
below these
went up and
buildings.
down Lily Street like, what is with the numbering here?
looks like somebody's driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very tight.
Yeah.
So what's the best way to?
And with that said, I would like to go down this other, what is the,
What's
is that
the
just
long
a
one coming
driveway?
in that you just said that?
Gull Island?
Gull Island, behind by American Seasons.
Oh, is that what that is?
If we go up that, I thought that was.
American
Yeah,
Seasons, yeah.
that's where we live.
It's land bank property.
Yeah.
If I may, I would like to know what with regards to view, I would like to know what the other private way is. So if possibly we could get that before we do our view. I mean, for general consumption, I'm going to look at all 4 sides of this almost as visible. So I don't know that it's going to make a difference to me where that private way is, but it may make a difference to somebody else. So if we could maybe get that before we go to view, that would be great.
Okay.
Could I give my global view on this?
Yes,
Okay,
definitely.
so-
Sorry.
So So, well, globally, just in general, I think having, known the existing barn, I think really cannot see a house of this size in that area. And I wouldn't be opposed to like a story and a half, but a full-fledged 29-foot high building and of this massing, I think is overkill for this site. I know the site looks very big on the lot, but as we've been talking about the water, it's really confined to only a certain part of the lot because of the water issues.
Because of the wetlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in general, the size, the massing, I see where you're coming from with the gambrel roof, but actually, Gracie's Mansion, I mean, there were a lot of barns, going around the Lily Pond over on North Liberty, all the way around. It's historically smaller barn dwellings. So that's the type of style I would like to see the direction of this go. Thank you.
All right, so, yes, John?
There's a driveway going down to the lily pond. You discussed that, right? There's a private driveway. Then there's an access to the land bank owned property called the lily pond. You know that.
Yeah.
What happens to that pathway? Have we discussed that, or do you discuss it? What happens to that pathway? So that's as a public way?
Can you show me on this map? I don't know. Here's the way that comes off of Lily Street.
Here.
This, Lily Pond Ditch?
You call it, it's not, call it whatever you want.
I don't think
Yeah.
this is part of the easement, though.
This here.
It's just this section.
This, where's the driveway down from
Right
Lily
here.
Pond? Right here.
Right here.
Or this one, yeah.
Down here, so what's all this?
That's not, that doesn't show as an easement.
That what?
Does not, this part of it does not look like an easement to me. It
Well,
doesn't-
I have a record back to 1890, where that was an easement for farmers to go from here
Oh,
into the farmland.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just saying.
I'm
that
not a lawyer either.
It doesn't, I'm just
It doesn't-
telling you that it's not showing up on this plan from the surveyor as an easement, so I'm not sure. I can't answer that question.
Whether, I don't know what an easement even is, but all I know is that there's a pathway here.
Comments through the
We
chair,
have to
please.
clarify.
What's that?
Please make comments through the chair.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It just keeps it a little
No.
less,
I'm not,
it keeps everybody involved.
sure, no.
John or Lisa, can you just point out on that where
I'll show you.
Just keeps everybody involved.
No, I understand totally.
American Seasons,
He's asking about this section, this little
right,
section
but we
here.
need to get into it, and what's the best way of
Well,
getting in?
the best way to get into the lot is to go down this little driveway between Thomas Laurie's property, right on the right. There's a little fence. You'll see a fence, and you make a hard turn from Lily Street.
Okay,
But then he was asking about this being an easement, and all I
Right.
said was, I don't know if it is. It's not noted as an easement on this site plan, which would think that normally a surveyor would notate easements, but I don't know.
The
So-
surveyor has put up, if I may say, a little pink lot here and here, so I'm going to assume that this stays open. And I can show you the record going back to 1890.
I will ask the surveyor.
Fine.
yeah, these ditches may be out at the DPW because they were ditches that
Yeah.
helped drain the water.
They were trying to help drain it where.
Yeah.
Did
But I don't
big-
know if they're easements to allow people to walk.
I don't know.
That's your question, and I don't know the
Yeah.
answer to that.
Well, could we hold for more information about
Yes,
that?
that's what,
Because I think that's-
view
I think,
and more
that's in,
information.
Lisa's best interest too, to know if there's.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
Did I,
Yes,
I just wanted, I emailed some photos that I thought you would find interesting that are in one of our books, just of the area, historically speaking. I think that one you're looking at actually has the barn in question, and that's that center part of that photo, or the central part of that photo is the actual area that we're talking to.
oh,
So
all right,
what-
you sent this to the office so we
Yeah.
can get it in our view packet?
Yep.
John McLaughlin.
Sorry.
Probably is.
Yeah, and that's why I love it.
I guess that's where it is.
No, it's,
All right.
it's the chair, it just keeps everybody involved.
So we're going to take a motion then that we are going to hold this for more information and a view. And if any of the neighbors want to inform us, it should go on next Tuesday, will it be?
Yes.
It'll be on next Tuesday. We start at 4:30 in the afternoon. And we would,
Well, would it go next Tuesday? I mean, don't we would probably want to submit revisions, we're not going to get them in by
Well,
Friday.
I think we're holding, I'm holding my comments until I go there.
Yeah, may I suggest that,
Oh, okay.
Yes,
my
I
understanding
went
was
ahead
that.
because I just
Go ahead,
knew.
sorry.
Okay.
My understanding was that because the existing structure was contributing, that may make a change in the design that you're doing. Is that correct?
yes, because
I think
that's,
So
part
I'm
of that
waiting
existing
for that.
structure is contributing. I don't think
Yeah.
the whole thing was built in
Sure.
1923.
But that
anyway,
may
you can
change. the
check it
structure.
out. That's what they put on Hash Ave,
Yeah.
that in the
That's
newest
like a
one.
different letter that we got emailed to us today. Is it longer than the one that Ray forwarded
Sounds
to
like
me?
another one.
It
I
had,
received, no.
oh, okay. Maybe that's it. Maybe I
The
just,
only email I received.
okay.
I
Okay.
thank the neighbors for
Thank you.
coming
Thank
today.
you.
So,
We're going to hold
Do you need this
for
back?
more
No.
information about the easement
Right,
And a view.
and a view.
and a view for the people that haven't been able to find it.
And then can I ask to put the rest of mine to the beginning of
Yes.
Tuesday? Thank you.
If you get lost, you can just come to my house, I'll show you.
And what's your address?
8.
Gull Island.
You're way up on the hill.
Yeah, right before.
So if you take the left by American Series and go to the end.
Is that a road?
Yeah, Gull Island?
Are you on the right or the left?
On the
Yeah,
left.
you know, there used to be a whole
Diane,
pond.
no,
I mean, it was a pond, it was a pond that
you can see it.
you could
Everybody knows
skate on in the winter.
okay, great.
35 Lily, if you want to mail us anything, ever.
I wanted to talk to you the other day, actually.
You want to talk to me the other day?
Yes,
About what?
the hospital.
Ooh, what, you want me to donate?
No, I don't want you to donate.
Are you for it or against it?
Your liver,
I am against what they're doing there.
I am too, but I want to hear,
Well,
pardon me,
that's-
to interrupt you.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'll call you.
There you
Okay,
go.
All right.
I'm dead set against it, but they don't want to talk to me. So if you want to talk about it for the hospital, you want to talk to me.
John Lawrence is Dr.
oh, yes, we did. Did we vote on
Yeah.
that?
Yes, did we vote on that?
No,
We
I
didn't
hear
vote.
All those
And
who want to hold for revisions and a view
More information.
and
too
more
on the
information,
easement.
please say aye. Aye.
we didn't really ask for revisions.
Yeah, we didn't
No.
ask for revisions.
No, we don't have revisions.
Because you have to view it.
We have to view it,
View
and we have to have
and
more
information.
information. That's what
It
we're
was
asking.
unanimous consent by lack of a nay.
Hey,
Call me.
I will, John, thank you.
Thank you.
John,
Okay, so
John.
amidst all that confusion,
Oh, wait, can I do one more thing?
Yeah.
Please, that the rest of Botticelli and Poe's things, 12, 13, 8,
15.
on, new business. That's, excuse me, that is 15, I just ate Salvos. Be held for Tuesday, and we have heard the views, so that's all set. All those in favor of holding 12 through 15, please say aye.
Aye.
No opposed.
hello,
Hello. Hey, guys.
thank you for waiting.
No problem.
Let's see, so this is
This is
11 Sherburne. Is that where we are?
Another one, I went up and down, up and
Oh, it's
down,
not-
and the
it's not
numbers
marked.
went mental.
Oh,
Yeah.
You went from 9 to
so
15.
I was wondering,
Sherburne Way or Sherburne Turnpike?
That's why I went.
You know,
so. I was hoping it wasn't.
if we
But
ever had a chance to add something to applications, because going on views, like, we're taking the time to go on the view, and I cannot always find the number. So if you are going to have an application, put up a temporary
Number,
address,
something.
so we can see where it is.
Hey, yeah,
Anyway.
well, okay, so the confusion here is that this, if you're coming down Cliff Road and you turn onto Sherburne Turnpike and you go, and Sherburne Turnpike dog legs off to the right, some driveways come off right at that corner where Kimball Avenue forks to the
Right.
left. This is this, like the.
The
10 o'clock-
continuation that looks
10
like a
o'clock-
driveway?
Exactly. That's where this is.
11 Sherwood Turnpike, you actually drive across the butter's property.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry,
At
the other
Kimball
one.
Avenue.
Right.
That's the house
Right.
that's in question.
All right, so
But this has
that,
some age to
Keep
it,
keep
Frank.
moving it, Diane.
1940.
Yeah, that-
Oh, so it's,
Yeah, and
it's,
then
it's back here.
you did
Let me see.
some revisions.
It's
to
back
it.
here.
that's why I couldn't find it. Because I was,
It's marked 15.
But you go up there anyway?
Alicia Randy drew it.
so you kind of go up and then, Joe, is it down? You go
No,
up?
what you do is, so this Sherburne Turnpike that takes, it's a U shape, but
Right.
if you go the next driveway over,
You see like.
and you go over the butter's property, you come up into it.
Past, you go over Kimball and down the Shell Path.
Yes.
Over
So
the
basically, if
river
you're
and
coming
through
down,
the
you
woods.
just drive straight up in
It's
it.
back here.
All right, so I couldn't find it.
I'm pretty sure this is it.
Yeah, you just go straight up and then go in. This one just.
can we add that to the
so it's
application?
Stevens Row. Yeah, I did that
It's
one.
under
You know, that they
construction, right?
must put.
No, they just finished
Especially
it.
when they're subdividing things.
Yeah, so he came in
'Cause
probably
we-
about 9 months ago. They did new decks, and they,
What's his address?
that
It's a
is
temporary stake. It
13.
says 11 Sherburne Turnpike.
So this is in 1940s, which has been altered and changed since like 1985.
Yeah, it looks like there's a bunch of different things
Yeah.
added, different ways, different times.
I found it.
So we advertised in the paper today to see if this anyone would like to take it and move it off. But it is a 1940s cottage. Back in 1985, there were plans to do some alterations to the closest wart to the south. And then I think in 90s, something, Botticelli Pole did some plans to add a shower and the sunroom. But our goal is to move it off.
Mr. Swain, are you with the applicant?
Yeah, I've represented the applicant in the purchase of the property.
Does this, have you submitted this to Hashab?
We have not, we just got, we're just moving everything forward, but yes, we will be.
Okay,
So
because,
it's a non-contributing building as far as the
but the
survey.
age is 1940,
Correct,
which makes it 80 years old,
correct.
give or take a year or two.
So just for clarification on this, the driveway in the front, the shared driveway, that is part of the driveway to the left.
Correct.
It's not a public way.
Yes. So the goal is to move off the house or demolish it and create a green
He's
open
right.
space on that lot.
I used to work for him,
Yeah, oh, well, then you.
so I know it's ready.
Yes,
Period.
period.
Seriously?
That's their intention for the future.
What is it?
What is there?
They want to either move off the structure or
Yeah.
demolish it and then create a green space,
Meaning a yard.
a yard.
Are you kidding
I
me?
know.
Hey, this is where the land bank's
No.
going in 50 years. Pretty soon they're going to be buying everything and taking it.
Pretty soon they'll be able to.
Yeah.
Who is the owner of
Just the abutter.
the abutter? I had my speech, prepared.
Curses foiled again. Well, are you ready to prepare a different speech?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I
let's go.
am. I was going to give.
You have the microphone.
I cannot
That'd be bobbing and weaving now?
You know, I just made my day.
Okay, thank you.
Honest and truly, I know this house because I know the Frothinghams and I know I've been up there and I just, the scale of it, it's so old fashioned and so old Nantucket. It would, I hate to see it go as well, but a green space, wow.
In that thing where you don't have three houses jammed together with hardly tiptoe room.
Well, I don't know what to say now. I guess I don't know what to say. I guess
Well,
I might go first.
shall I go around
Yeah.
the table? Let's see, Val. Ready? You had a prepared speech too.
No, I didn't. I find it interesting, and is that like in perpetuity going to be a green space, or just for 6 months?
You know what? That's
A
impossible.
year.
I don't think that's impossible to warrant.
Yeah. My understanding, sorry to speak for Rick, is that's their end game and goal is to just have that
That
space.
can be put in on their deed, I believe.
Yeah,
That's
I had
up
a
to them.
perpetuity that ended in
I-
30 years, so be careful if you
Well,
really want to keep
if you want to
going.
pass that to the lawyer, please do.
I have a feeling that nobody's going to take this. It's an old summer cottage that's nothing, right?
You wanna know
Not
something?
insulated.
I think that this building would lend itself well to having like chunks taken.
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And somebody use one for a shed, another person use
Yeah.
one
So,
for a studio.
Abby, the last drawing you were looking at, I
Yes.
think it was Robert Lecter did the drawing. I think that wart could not go, I think the garage wart shouldn't go, and maybe the sunroom should go, because it's really kind of awkward. But the rest of the house could be moved
Does any,
in a couple pieces. I have spoken to Toscana, and it is on their agenda to,
does any of
That's
these
crushing.
buildings,
to remove it or relocate it.
do any of these buildings get offered to the town? Why wouldn't this be a good building down at the tennis courts?
The jetties?
Or parts of it.
Or
Well,
parts of it?
And they
They're
would have
always
to move it
wanting to
very
build nasty little buildings down there, and this is an old building.
Yeah, I think this is an
Well,
old Sears and Roebuck building.
It is.
It is.
It has to
Yeah.
go to public notice,
It
so
is.
they'll have an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean,
We used to regard Sears Roebuck buildings with
I know.
interest and stuff.
Well, before, we used
Okay,
to
so
think they
there's
were
the ad.
awful.
I know.
Now they've got trendy.
This is the ad that's being run.
that's in today's paper.
That is
Oh, good.
so, God, my heart has been lifted.
Well, I'm with their plans.
Thank you.
Yeah, what are we actually voting for then?
For
To allow it to-
move off.
To allow the move off. I will propose that,
Okay.
we,
So
the move off.
now.
Move
they-
off or demo.
Move off or down.
Okay, but we prefer,
Definitely, and.
Earnest attempt at a move off.
Trust me, the market for recycled housing is very strong.
Yeah.
And I think that if the whole thing can't get moved in its entirety, then at least pieces of this thing could be used in various.
so many
Yeah.
places.
No, I mean, listen, if someone comes back, I will be coming with a plan showing some of the warts
I'd
and
rather
massive
chop-
not
chop
being
it.
there.
That would be
So,
great.
But officially, we're in for a demo move-offs, and that's the way it's worded. So, are you willing to make?
Yes, I am. I'm willing to,
All those in favor of Abby's motion to approve the demo move-off of this building?
Aye.
Okay, very good. Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you. Joe, you have one more?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I say due to circumstances?
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to
it's all.
bring that late to the
we-
table.
It'll all be in the minutes of deliberations.
I didn't know where Red Mill Lane was.
It is right near the cemetery and butts Dead Horse Valley. Larry, who is it? Larry and Harold Weldon's butts it.
So it's off of Old
Harold.
Farm?
Yeah, you know where you come
Yeah,
up
it's
the
right
cemetery,
next
come up
to
with,
That new whole
the Catholic.
yeah, Sophie Metz just got
Buddy's
something approved last week. I
property up
believe.
there.
Yeah, and that guy is
This is
back.
on the corner.
Yeah, with
We're on the view list for his pool.
That's
right
the
next
one
door.
that we want
It's right next door to the
to send
right.
us a plan so we have it to look at.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Yeah.
what building is now looking right down on the cemetery? What road is that on? I couldn't figure out what,
That's,
think that's
I
Old
think
Farm
this is
Road.
Old
Old
Farm.
Farm Road.
So Old Farm, you drive you straight in. If you kept going, it'd take you to Dead Horse Valley, going by the old Eagle
Right.
Road.
But
Red
if you
Mill
go up
actually
that-
goes down the hill the first right as you go into the development. And that goes across and would lead you into Cato Lane or Roberts Lane.
But if you come up Vesper Lane or whatever it is, and you come up between two cemeteries, there's a new road.
Correct.
It goes up there.
Right.
That's
Is
old.
that-
Old
That's
Mill.
Old Mill.
That's Old Mill.
Yes.
When you go
And
on
that's-
that, you
yeah.
turn right,
Right.
and then it goes down the hill.
Right.
That's
And
right.
around. This house is right on the corner.
Correct. This is the first house you will see. That
First house you'll see.
shot, the little vignette there,
Yeah.
is what you'll see as you're driving into the new development.
And so it's on the same road as that one that's moving over the cemetery.
All right, thank you for that. Hey, Joe, just out of curiosity, you know, there is a huge amount of topo back there, which we're still trying to get under control. Is this lot?
There is some.
There's some, but not
Pretty
nearly
good.
like what they have.
Yeah, so what I am trying to do is go up about a foot and a half, because the topography that has been removed and manipulated, I have to stay within the height that is there, so I can't really do too much. What I am going to do is, if you can see from the west elevation, is a retaining wall that abuts the existing brick walkway.
It's not even listed right
No,
now.
it's not. It's under, that's the development that I have it under the name.
Okay, so you're cutting in.
This is.
So I'm coming down here.
Right.
And
Yeah.
You got it cut in.
Well, it's just that little
Between the
hill.
cemeteries.
Okay, folks, just so
There's
you
a new
know.
road that goes here.
Goes on the west.
Right, so the west is the front, okay, which will face this brick walkway that we all have seen before. Now, the issue here is you see how it slopes from the walkway down to where the trucks are parked, right, pretty dramatically. So if you look on Joe's west elevation, on the left-hand side, you will see a retaining wall. That's dealing with the walkway. So from the brick walk, you're actually going to look down into this property over a retaining wall.
And
So
so,
that he can create a flat platform below the
right, which,
walkway.
so I can get a parking space and everything works. I will say this, if you turned around 180 degrees and look back in the neighborhood, every lot going towards Dead Horse Valley is going to need some retaining wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh,
Some,
yeah.
some
So
very large.
I just met with Mirka, a landscaper that's there, a
work
builder
this thing.
on the street, and said, can we just do one retaining wall? Can we have one concrete person come in and go shoot nuts the whole way down,
Good idea.
work all together, and
Yeah.
then per foot divide the bill?
That is a great
So they're
idea.
all trying to work together. It's the only way, because I guess Don Bracken in the beginning said to the developer, knock the hill, but it's a huge problem.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
So that's what I'm trying to deal with that.
And you don't want those houses sailing off the hill.
No.
And down into Dead Horse Valley.
Slide.
I have one comment, Joseph, right off the bat. Well, first of all, I think it's a very attractive design. However, could you do something about the windows? That I think they're too narrow to be 8 lights. The panes feel really, really.
Oh, so 6 on ones? All right.
I think it's
Very
just.
vertical.
Cemetery,
Okay.
the Catholic cemetery, you go up, and right now,
They look
is
like
the
Frank Lloyd
stuff
Wright
going into
windows.
the Catholic. There's a new
Which, you
road.
know, I like.
It's a
And
style.
very
That's the
sure.
one that's here. And that's the new mill. And Ernie Weldon lives here.
Yeah,
This is really old.
I couldn't
That old
tell
windmill he had to
exactly
tell
why.
them.
Gotcha.
Right there.
It looks like a friendly building, but you're right, it's the panes. It's the panes. that they were just-
vertical.
The better, they're better in the front door than they are in the windows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well-
And in the French doors and the windows. Otherwise, I think
Yeah.
it's a very attractive house.
I'm all agreed.
Yeah, I like the way you incorporated those.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not one of the 200 missing.
We've got one person who hasn't voted.
Yeah.
It's very suspicious.
Yeah, Val, number 3 on the top.
Well,
That was pretty impressive.
What do you mean you were number 3?
Votes.
Votes. Vote getter.
Who was
Total
number
votes.
2?
Tim
Peter,
Lepre
Peter
and-
Brace.
Who?
Peter Brace.
Oh, of everybody, you were number 3 on the
Yeah.
vote.
So there's like a whole nother metric there.
She should feel very loved.
Anyway, we should hustle it along.
All right. I don't have a, I'm going, I'm not, I think it's great, except for the pains.
Other comments? Stephen?
So we're gonna, this is what's
I-
facing the road?
I agree with
Yeah.
the six light. I like the treatment of the front door and the trim there. I think that's a nice look, and generally, it's just a nice design.
Thank you.
No concerns.
I have one minuscule minor thing.
Go for it.
Can you put a false corner board on the north side
Coming down.
where the gable ties in over that shed?
Yeah, actually, I took that off, yep. I got you.
Oh, yeah.
And what's the
Because that
corbelling,
faces the street, that
Yeah.
long.
Yep.
the corbelling on the chimney top?
Yeah, I tried to go traditional, is that all right? Or is that
What's
not-
the little thing sticking up?
Doesn't look very
It's a
traditional.
little flu? Too much detail, sorry.
Little too much.
All right, so,
Just a little too much.
Come in a bit.
Yeah.
What's the colors, Joe?
wait.
Chimney too?
Water struck, red cedar roof.
I love it.
That's gonna be real nice.
Yeah, so do we want to approve
great
it with a
panel.
couple of,
Yes, good, full clause.
being the
Latin.
panes and simplification of the chimney cap?
And
Panes
the,
widened.
Yeah, instead of 8 lights,
Eight lights,
there's
yeah.
6.
And that false
Oh,
corner board.
really?
False corner board. and
I love the 8 light with this style.
I just, Val, look at the panes seem like,
Very
you know,
vertical.
really good.
What
I changed
elevation
the
is
front
that?
door.
We need the
No,
corner
I got
board.
a 6 of 1.
Corner board.
It'll be fine.
I think you're going to love it.
What is it? North.
Okay.
All right.
He's just upset Val, you got more votes.
False corner board on the north elevation.
And reduction in the detail on the chimney.
chimney.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all those in, whose motion is that?
I'll make it.
Val's motion. All those in favor of Val's motion?
That's staff.
Aye.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you should have. Thanks.
Nice.
Thank you all, have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Okay, 10 Clifton Street. Thank you for waiting. It's a little longer and more confused than we were before on Thursday. So you'd like to replace some windows?
It's the last one.
You ready, John? Sure. Okay. Could you just say your name for the record?
Your shirt is so cool.
Okay. Got that, John? Okay, thanks.
How you doing?
Good, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for waiting.
Very welcome.
Goody, thank you.
I love that corbelling on the chimney.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Old school.
Yeah, that's an old, that's the one.
So,
What are you doing?
yeah.
I'm matching all windows, same type, same light configuration. You know, I'm the tenant, and the reason my being there is to save the house for Rena, the daughter, and the mother who turned 90 2 weeks ago, and the house hadn't been worked on in 40 years.
Wow.
So there was extensive rotten wood. And the windows I started on, I mean, the furnace runs less now. It's a great improvement. The house,
Oh, because it's more weather tight.
yeah, there's no question, you know, the work has helped make it a better house. And they're adamant about maintaining character.
So I think the
They love
issue
their
is,
house.
it was true divided light, and he changed them to thermal, right?
Yes, I do.
And that's why they weren't a light kind replacement.
I see.
They're in the same spot, but they're not the same type of window.
There is solid sash both sides. And they look real good, and there are, in the photos, you'll see a few old windows with the storms over it, and you'll see that they actually match. And they look much nicer. And it's nice to leave them exposed
say-
without
you didn't-
storms.
Did this application come before us?
This is the first time. And,
This first time, so.
I did not apply, for the record, I did not apply for, My understanding was in kind was to match the type and configuration, but I've been required to file an official application with you.
So, I have a question for you. When I look at, say, this picture,
Yeah,
okay, we all have this.
yeah.
You see your existing windows here, these two.
Those are staying.
Those are staying, and what they have is they have the aluminum screen attached to the casing on the outside.
They do.
Okay? Now, your new windows appear to me to be Andersons,
Yeah, 400 series.
okay? Are you going to put a storm screen on top of those?
Not so far.
I was afraid you were going to tell me that.
I mean, I
I'm gonna tell you-
I can, but
Okay. I think it would
just
be a
haven't
good
crossed that
idea,
bridge
A,
yet.
for weather tightness, but to remedy what I think is a little, I'm sure you're aware that ordinarily we're not approving simulated divided lights, insulated glass in the Sconset Old Historic District. You
Well, I
aware?
know in town that's the case, but this is out of town.
Is it out of town?
Yeah, it's on a different map.
This is slightly out of the
It is?
Wisconsin Advisory Board.
It's on Clifton, which is
But it's an older house, that's all.
And
parallel to
I,
West Sankaty.
I counted over 30 houses with the same manufacturer,
Yeah.
and I enclosed a few photographs of brand-new houses, some are maybe 1 to 3 years old.
I'm sorry, I was under the impression that this was in the Sconset Old Historic District.
It should be.
In which case, I would have said, if you put the storm panels, storm screens over those windows, it will mask the fact that they're insulated glass.
Well, then we will.
But,
I think we
well,
have to do
that's
that.
just- That's just my opinion. just
Well,
take a building.
no objection, we didn't get that far, and I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, so,
It's right next.
you want to start,
That's the
Stephen?
house in Hatfield, it's right there.
Yeah, I mean, if the goal is to make it look like it was, then I would say, with those Andersons, as you know, they've got that frame that's exposed next to the casing. So if you were to do that, you'd have to think through building out your casing with a strip around it to receive the Harvey triple track storm window.
Could actually put the triple track, because these casings are a little bit wider than normal.
I don't think you'd be able to get at the. So you might want to think that through before you decide that you're going to put the triple tracks on. I want to have some more information though, please, in the application. These are, or from the applicant, these are the Anderson SDL, right?
Yeah.
And do they have the shadow bar spacer and a fixed interior, or just the exterior fixed?
There's a fixed sash outside and inside.
Yeah.
Okay, and is there a spacer between, or just one? It's
Yeah,
okay
you
if it
see
is. I just
Well,
wanna
you
know.
can see the space that creates the.
There's a gap.
And that's where the argon gas is.
Okay, so they're not, because the Andersons, unlike the Marvin comes with that spacer bar that makes it look
right.
like, if you drive by, you see, it's a shadow bar. It looks like actually true divided lights, even though they're not. Where the Andersons,
see diagonal.
that's optional. But I think even looking at this and the distance it is from the street, and the fact that their privet is there, and the driveway, it's just the orientation. I guess I don't really have a concern about it. I would like to see, if your goal was to replicate what was there, is that you put the triple track back up.
That's okay.
I personally think it looks better without the triple track, but that's just my thoughts on the triple track.
Okay, we can do it.
That's it. Well, let them,
Diane, how about you? What do you think?
because then they'll talk and then they'll have a vote.
You're going 6 over 6s,
Yes.
Where they were.
where they were, and 6 over 1s
No, on the front of the house, they have 2 over 2.
in the porch or whatever you want to call that. right?
Exactly, yeah.
And the rest of the windows are 6 over 6s.
True.
And do we have many older windows that are restorable, or are you wanting to replace?
No, they fell apart. They were
They
severe.
were?
They were pretty severe. And I mean, they were beyond, they were way past the point of repair.
Well,
And
then-
these new windows are solid wood, the sash, they're
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah,
They have a good feel to them.
But you can, in the future, you gotta spread the word out there that we need true divided lights on a, this is a historic home. It may be outside the historic district, but this is an 1880s home. This has gotta be, it's got the Victorian, so we have to be really careful. And I can see these French doors they almost looks like snap-ins to me in the back
No,
here.
they're not, but they're not the same design as the windows. But
Are they
but-
snap-ins or are they?
No, they're permanent. They are permanent. It's just
Okay.
that they're not as pronounced. They're not on the outside and the inside clearly like the double hungs and the casements on the front.
On your south elevation, the two windows, they're just a one pane or whatever. Does that exist now?
Yeah, I repaired it and it went back in. That's the original one from 1920. Well, actually, that was from 1934.
That window?
Yeah.
And you're going to put it back in?
Well, it is in now.
Is that fixed, or is it a hopper? Or?
It's fixed.
I was just curious.
Yeah, it's over
Yeah.
the kitchen sink.
How about these front windows? Are they fixed or are they crank?
Those are casement like the old ones.
Which one are you
They look like a fixed
On
though.
that porch.
Oh, I don't have that.
No, I thought they were double hung, the ones in the front.
No, they're the only ones that aren't.
Do you have any
Besides the one
pictures
in the
of the
back.
old?
He said those are cases?
Yeah, I closed a photo of the old.
Oh, wow, they're big casements. That had me fooled. I thought they were 2 over 2.
Yeah.
It looked like they were sliding.
Is there a front shot of that?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, there is. I did enclose both.
Okay.
Those
there
are
I
the
thought they
only
were
ones that,
screened in
to me.
I only went with the 2 over 2 there because that's what I
No,
removed.
no. It's irrelevant, the grill pattern. It's the window that they're going to crank out. And those old photos from the inside look like they slid.
No, it just looks that way. They were pretty rough shape.
All right, what are we gonna do here?
Aside from the casements, I think it's okay.
You mean the big casements?
Yeah.
That's a picture of them from the front, like close up. I didn't see that either.
You want to go look at it?
I'm a little concerned about that. I don't know what to
Why
do
is this so
about it.
heavy on the,
You match the existing trim, or?
Well, it also lines up with the shingling on the side. That's why it's like
I
that.
don't understand that header there.
Okay, so
That's the only one like that because it was as is, and when you carry the line around the building, it lines up with the shingles.
He took that shingle line that wraps around, and then he brought this up so that he didn't cut the shingle going across. I mean, it is quite a bit
That's very,
bigger.
I mean, if I built it from scratch, that porch, it would have a higher roof, and there would be room for a full header, and there would be another course of shingles above it. But it's what I was left to work with. And it was an addition, it was probably built 1934, the same time as the other addition. But the house was 1923.
You understand that
it's just-
usually you
it's
have to
just
come
not
to.
painted.
It's mahogany.
You're going to paint that, right?
Oh, yeah.
But isn't it new?
I know.
It's there, it's just not painted.
I mean, I don't know what to do about it.
It's blending
I wanna
in,
see
it's blending
pictures
in
of
with the
the
cedar
old
right
one
now, because I haven't gotten
From
that
the
far
outside.
yet.
Yeah.
But it's back
Do you
front.
have any pictures of the outside front with those the 2 over 2s?
Yeah, it's in the file.
There's some from that's what he just put in.
Oh, you mean before?
Right.
Yeah, might
Existing?
help.
The ones I ripped out, there's front and back. It's in the file.
Do you have any
Can
more
I see that,
pictures?
sir? See it. Maybe it's stapled
You-
somewhere else.
Didn't know that you have to apply to the HTC to change windows?
No, I felt because I was matching the type and light configuration.
But you're not.
But you're not matching the existing, you're putting in new windows. I see that, but we are really.
This is the front view. of
Yeah,
the
we're
old-
looking at a finer, you're looking at it from a broader, when you're saying matching, you're looking at not as many details as we are.
So you're matching in a general sense, but you have to match in a more specific sense,
And
is
we're-
what they're trying to convey.
We're the ones that say whether the window can be repaired, not you. So this should have come to us so we could look at the windows specifically.
I would like to look at it.
Yeah.
Should we do it
And
later?
I think
Okay.
if,
Maybe let's do that.
What, of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry I had to wait so long, but it sounds like what we're gonna do is we're gonna go out and take a look.
Any
See
old
if
windows
there's any
that you
sort of
have around,
triage.
That may be a good thing,
pile it up.
because right now I have some concerns that looking at it might actually
Yeah.
alleviate.
Okay, so can I have a motion from one of my friends at the board?
I'll hold to
To
review.
Motion to view.
Right, so all those in favor of Diane's motion to?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks. So will this be up again on Tuesday,
Yes, yeah.
at the beginning of Tuesday?
so
So this will be heard again Tuesday evening after 4:30. Okay?
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Abby, what are you up to?
Okay,
You can.
Incomplete application.
I can stay where I am?
Yeah.
No one's.
No, this is,
is that guy related to the owner, did he say?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think you would have
He may
said
just be
so.
living
But he said he's just a tenant. He's working on the building, I think, in lieu of rent.
I thought he said something about a grandmother.
A grandmother.
Goes
know
into a
that
household.
Oh,
Oh, thank you. Now, these are pictures.
you know what HVAC said?
You can see.
You do know?
No.
You don't know. Okay, so HSAP, south elevation, over fenestrated as proposed, 3 openings, small purview.
where do we get it? Don't I get one?
What did you, obviously,
You didn't come prepared?
If there's an extra, I would like one. Thank you.
oh, so you're adding a dormer.
No,
Oh.
I love the dormer, look at the
Wait
dormer.
a second.
what dormer? That's not the,
existing.
so,
You're just changing the windows in the dormer?
no. So what I'm changing is on what's called the south elevation, there exists a French door, a pair of French doors.
Yep, see it.
Does everybody see the French doors that
Here's
exist
what's
now?
existing.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And I want to move those around to the patio side that nobody can see. It would be the east elevation. Do you see that? It's circled in turquoise.
Yep.
Okay, I want to move those over there. And in its place, I want to add these 9/9s.
9/9.
Well,
'cause they're
see, on the south elevation, on the second floor, do you see the 9/9? That exists
Oh, so
now.
what you have here is not what this isn't what
Go
you
one
want
more
it to
page.
be.
Go one more
Oh,
page. I didn't get it either.
okay.
One of the issues is the stuff that's bubbled in black is actually previous
Yes.
things, so you have to look for what's bubbled
I
in
gotcha.
blue.
Blue
Okay.
is new. Blue
Blue
is
is
new.
new.
Blue is new.
So the French doors move around to the patio, which is,
Yeah.
faces the bank, east. And I'm proposing 4 9/9s. There exists on the second floor that 9/9, and there are other 9/9s on the other side of the house. You can see,
Yeah, I was confused, Abby. I
Okay.
thought the
That's
previous
okay.
page was what you
Yes,
were doing.
okay.
That's one room behind there.
that's one room, and the reason behind this is it's a wonderful old house. It's my great-grandmother's house, but it's very dark. It's the south side of the house is not very fenestrated right now with the one French door, so I'm looking for sunlight. And the thing of it is, Well, first of all, I'd like to see what you all have to say, and then I have something else I'd like to say.
Okay, I'm gonna chime in here, because the HSAB comment said they'd rather see 3 windows than 4, which sort of in an abstract world is good, but Abby, I know that a few things. One, you were looking for an alignment with that existing window above, so you can't really do that with 3 windows.
Yeah, then it will look
You
chaotic.
can't. Or if you did, it would look really totally strange if it was just one room behind there with like 1 window and then 2 windows. So I understand your rationale for doing this.
May I ask, Abby, the south is the rear of the home?
The
the
south
side.
is the side of the house, and it's a back massing. The front of the house comes forward.
Here.
Oh, okay, that helps, thank you. So the south is this side that you don't see?
No, the south is where the
Yeah,
French
your
doors
thumb.
are now. Yeah, where your, see, yeah, see the French door there? Where your thumb is?
That's where you're talking about the 4 windows?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you. Yeah.
And these are examples in the neighborhood of windows, right? That are
Right, yeah, they're exact neighbors, like to my left, my right, across the street.
Those are interesting windows at 23 Lily Street, aren't they?
That used to be a laundromat.
That's
Oh,
the big
oh,
house?
yeah, that's the big house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That house is huge. I never realized
Well,
how
it's
huge it was.
It's very wide, but it's only like 1 room and a half deep.
Deep, yeah.
Because it's right up against the bend.
And it goes
Happy
on
Man and Happy
on
House.
and on and on. Who owns that?
I
The
love that
Hannons.
dormer.
Ah.
I freaking
Yeah,
love that.
good. Isn't it? Well, that's staying. So-
No, I know. I just say we see different dormers all the time.
Well,
and I love the little
The last
peculiar.
when I-
Quirky. Quirky's good.
Her grandmother put it on, right?
My great grandmother, yeah.
Looking at that, I actually think that elevation can sustain 4 windows.
I don't have a problem
I
with
don't have a
it.
problem with it.
Okay.
All right.
So
So,
that's that then.
And I'd prefer that than seeing 3 down there.
am I in favor of it? Right.
So we have a motion.
Now, could I just have your attention for 1 more second? If you go to the, okay, the front elevation, proposed west, you will see 6/9. And I would be willing to compromise, and it wouldn't be as tall. They would be the same pane size, but they would lose
The bottom row.
the top, actually.
Yeah, but then you're going to have a bigger window on the second floor.
You're going to use the same size with different light configuration, or are you suggesting a
No,
smaller window?
No, I was prepared for someone to say that, but anyway.
No, I'm just curious, because I think what I heard from Dale is it'd be a different size, so I'm just trying to understand what you're proposing as an alternative.
The
Is the same
alternative-
size but a different light configuration?
Actually, they're the same window size. I measured them this morning. They're 7x9s.
Turn to the
Yes,
floor.
yeah, he's got it. He's got it right there.
Right, but let me just.
So what's
okay,
wrong
so
with what
see
she
how
wants to
there-
do?
It's an equally weighted sash now?
Yeah.
So she would basically remove the bottom tier, so the window sill went up by 1 pane's worth.
Okay. But
But then you have on the second floor existing a
Yeah,
heavier
I
window.
know. I think they would look top heavy.
I think
All
you were
right.
getting,
Yeah.
you were getting,
All right, I just wanted a little more attention on this.
don't be like the fence guy.
Just-
Come on, let's
yeah,
get this.
All right, let's have a.
You're going to toss yourself out.
I motion to approve as submitted.
Thank you.
all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, it's too easy.
No, because then you have like a top-heavy.
I know, I
Yeah.
thought that would look awful.
Do we want to approve some minutes before we adjourn here?
Did you do that on
At the
Tuesday?
beginning?
Yeah, that
The
was,
which?
Did you do that Tuesday?
I think
Yeah,
we
we
did.
did.
that was
We
because
did.
of an error. That's a typo.
Tuesday night,
What about it?
before we left, we approved minutes.
I approved them personally.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
approved.
we approved them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't taken off.
Why is it always the Nantucket advisory thing on there? Are we supposed to be reviewing?
Yeah, but I mean,
Just
it's
kinda-
not a fast growing issue. And frankly, that's gonna be a rubber stamp because that's the part of it that was basically like, if Nantucket Advisory wants to review the stuff within this thing, hey, I'm all for it. You know, I mean, if that's what they wanna do. That's the extent of it. John, you were gonna say something, I can tell.
Bit your lip.
No, I think they're working to think of any other
Yeah, and
requirements.
isn't that, the
Well,
guy
that
that
was
came
part
here
two
was,
of the discussion.
Right.
Right, and for me, I don't mind them reviewing it, but I don't want to automatically give a nod that everything needs to be 25 feet in some of
Oh,
those
gosh,
ares.
No. That is
Heel
not what-
point.
That's not what this is about.
Leave that for zoning.
This is about
no, zoning
defining
does not tell us
the
what to do.
boundary
Zoning
about
tells us
what
what to do.
they are going to review and what they're not going to review.
We
That's it.
still decide what we do.
And maybe,
Right.
yeah.
Just saying the height is not, is
No,
individual
but when it's
basis.
integrated into a zoning
Gotta go chase
article,
down my passport.
now it is a 25-foot height.
It didn't get approved.
Oh, no, that's terrible.
It's already in place.
Hey, can I have a
in
motion?
Certain parts.
Motion to,
Oh, before we do,
I thought you meant that.
we need to elect a chairman. Do you want to do it next Tuesday?
We have to
Full
because it's
meeting.
got to be noticed, so.
So he'll notice
It's
it.
going to be at the beginning of Tuesday.
Tuesday's thing, all right,
Tuesday's
that's
thing.
what I wanted. And I wanted, not today, but sometime to spend some time about a little thing for this, for the HDC to nominate or whatever our best architecturally
yes.
constructed house for the year.
Oh, that's a terrific.
It's fun.
Wait,
We-
wasn't that just in the paper though? Didn't they,
No.
didn't we, what was that was in there though?
I think that there was another board which they may be doing, but
Okay, we have our own.
We should
Okay.
do our own.
Yeah.
And so many goes by, and there are some really neat buildings, and I
Yes.
think we should give some recognition
Yeah.
to those buildings.
Fabulous
Okay.
idea. So we'll put that on as another agenda item that we can discuss.
That's very
as soon as we
exciting.
can.
And I was asked to bring up the fact that Matt was our CPC representative.
Yep, and we
And
need to appoint a new one.
I would like to do that if anybody, when they meet, but somebody may be,
If you're interested in doing it, then we'll make sure that you do, barring any.
No, I think that would be wonderful.
But now, I think, again, let's put that down as other business.
other, yeah,
John, let's put that at the beginning of the agenda, because that's sort of an urgent thing, and the other business stuff tends to move from week to week.
Okay.
So along with appointment of officers, we should do appointment of CPC position.
Okay.
Okay.
So, well, actually, the agenda I had to send it down
Oh.
by 2, so this is gonna have to wait.
oh, because Monday's a holiday, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
What about the election of officers? Does that have to wait too?
That was on there.
That was-
Okay.
Can that be other commission business too?
Yeah, but other business needs to be noticed.
Yeah.
You know, that's the little sort of snag.
That's got to be,
You have to be
It
specific
could be,
about the way it's
It could be
worded.
the following Tuesday.
So we don't have do we have no captain of our ship till then?
No, that
doesn't change till it changes.
Oh,
And
The election of officers.
I know
the
Leslie
CPC
said
part.
otherwise, but the fact is, this is just a tradition. This is not a mandate that you have to have the election right after.
Right, you know, sometimes we've gone, if board members missing, we always wait until we have a full board, 5 board members, and everything else is, nothing says we have to have it done. Who the hell said that?
Nobody.
Oh, good. Well, I hope that nobody keeps her nose out of our business.
did John leave because he was upset?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. I'm worried.
he made a comment to me that I thought was maybe that, well, we'll see if he meant for today or if he meant for good.
No, he won't. He won't
I
put
Was
think
that on the
I think
awning
he'll
windows?
Cool down.
He was
but,
really upset.
Yeah.
I mean, it was evident, but he
Thanks.
You know, I don't need to tell you guys this, but I really try and accommodate his thing on with the windows. Sometimes it's just not.
Well, there was an overabundance on some of it.
Yeah.
I think that's why he
Yeah.
got.
But, yeah. Okay.
All
Can
right.
I have a motion?
Yes, motion to adjourn.
Thank you. All those in favor of Diane's motion to adjourn?
Aye.
Thanks.